few forms. That adds, weight towards what you're seeing. And we had a couple of those at times. So that's why we issue tornado warnings with the radar confirmed tags as well.
And Eckhoff says we're done with the severe weather, but a wintry mix will stick around to Indianapolis today. The John Bonner Neighborhood Centers says the swing stops for the buses are unconditional. Jake McDaniel reports that officers are looking into those buses.
That's because it's required by state law. State police are looking into the JNBC because they don't have stop signs like normal school buses. Last week, someone told officers that the JNBC was loading and unloading kids in the road without using a swing-out stop sign. JNBC Community Development Officer Melissa Benton.
We contacted our legal counsel. She has subsequently met with state police legal counsel again, and they've reviewed the state law, and they agree that her interpretation of the state law is accurate.
She tells Wish TV that they did nothing wrong.
That's what we believe.
Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A Hoosier mom captured a video of a car speeding past a stopped school bus on Tuesday in St. Joseph County. The doorbell camera footage shows that car narrowly missed her child and another child. St. Joseph County police are looking for the driver. Purdue sharpshooter Fletcher Lawyer says they're not taking anything for granted today as they take on 13th-seeded High Point to open the NCAA tournament.
Haven't been somewhere before. You're definitely prepared for it, what it brings, good and bad. So just making sure we're prepared and the guys in the locker room are all prepared for whatever's thrown at you.
And Purdue is a 7.5-point favorite for the tip-off at 12:40 this afternoon in Providence. I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. With traffic, here's Matt Bear.
Southbound 6570 crash after Washington Street, blocking the right lane. Stop and go traffic through the north split and back to Rural Street on westbound S70. And then we look at inbound 69, slow roll 106 down to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. At Jackson Hewitt, Expert Tax Prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Matt Bear on the 5s at WIBC Traffic.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
Now, here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Good morning. Chilly temperatures here with scattered rain and snow showers this morning. Blustery winds, a high only of 43. Partly cloudy, calm, and cold overnight. Lows into the mid-20s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And some of that wintry mix sticking around to the east of downtown Indianapolis, 38 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey starts right now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So, wait.
What?
Let me make sure I understand this correctly.
Yeah.
While you were fearing for your life from possible tornadoes last night, some guy was accosting you for money at a restaurant?
I wouldn't say he was accosting me, and I wasn't really fearing for my life because it was before the damaging storms were blowing through. So after, in the evening, Jim and I, we ran to Meijer.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. We ran to Meijer.
I mean, this is kind of...
Avon Meijer.
Oh, again.
And before you ask, no, I was not looking for eggs.
Did they have them?
I don't know.
You
I
didn't
never
even
got
check.
that far. I needed two things. I needed hairspray, and I needed creamer for my coffee. And those are two things that I need every morning, right? So it was just going to be a quick run.
You went all the way to the Meijer for that?
Well, we got there, and they said we had a power outage, and none of our checkouts worked.
Oh, no.
So we were like, okay, well, we got to leave because what's the point?
So you made that trip all the way to the Avon Meijer as you knew impending doom was bearing down on you.
So we were on the clock.
With the weather,
yes. And so we decided, you know what, we'll just go to Walgreens because that'll be quick. And while we're at the Walgreens, hey, it's right next door to Noble Romans. Let's grab something to eat. And normally it would have just been, let's just grab some breadsticks and go and eat them at home.
Sure.
But me and my infinite wisdom, I said, hey, let's go inside.
As the storm was bearing down on you, you're like, let's take a little joy trip to the Noble Romans on 10th. Was it on 10th Street?
Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
And I said, let's go inside and get a little deep dish pizza, right?
And I love that your husband.
He's going along for the ride on this one.
He's like, there's a massive weather cell.
He kept checking his phone. He's like, we've got about 30 minutes. He's like doing the clock.
But he's so afraid of you. He wasn't going to tell you no. He was like, sure, I guess we'll just go in the Noble Romans
He's
together.
He's not afraid of me.
Yes.
He was just trying to make me happy. So anyway, we go into the Noble Romans and we sit down, and we haven't even been talked to a waiter or gotten a menu, nothing. And this stranger walks over and he starts telling this story about how he got a job at Amazon, but he's not looking for a loan, but he really needs some money.
You're right. He was not looking for a loan. He was looking for you to hand him money.
He was looking for a handout. He was panhandling inside the restaurant.
I love that he clarified to you, I'm not looking for a loan, as in you will never get this money back. Let's just make that like you would think you would get it back anyway, but I'm not looking.
Let's exchange information so that you can pay me back.
like a car accident. You write your stuff down. I'll send this back to you. No, he wasn't even that. At least give the guy credit. Well, he was. So you're in the restaurant.
We're in the restaurant. We're sitting in the booth.
This is not outside.
No, we're in the restaurant.
Oh, wait, you're at a table. You're not even waiting to be seated.
No, we're at the table. We took our seat and we're sitting there waiting. And he walks over and he starts mumbling this story. I didn't even know what was going on, Rob. I was like, what, does this guy work here? What? And then I finally realized what he was getting at, that he was looking for money. And I just said, we're just trying to eat. And Jim says, sorry, man, good luck.
So wait a second. The restaurant, this guy was walking around, talking to people?
Yes, talking to patrons in the restaurant.
And they were permitting this?
Yes, they let it I don't know if they even knew it was happening or they were just glad that he wasn't asking them. Anyway, we looked at each other. Jim and I looked at each other and I was like, you know what? Let's just go. Because we knew the storm was coming.
Sure.
They've got somebody in the restaurant walking to tables asking for money. I was like, no.
I don't know if I've ever seen that where, I mean, obviously outside of places, gas stations, whatever.
Sure, on the street corner.
But I don't know if I've ever seen in an actual sit-down restaurant, because that's what a Noble Romans is, right? You go in there, you sit down at a booth, they bring you the food, whatever, where somebody has been permitted. Because you said he went somewhere else then?
He went to another guy sitting across the restaurant.
Right, so it's not like it was a one-hit up and then he fled the scene.
No.
He's clearly asking the people in the restaurant for the money.
He went from table to table, which was surprising that there were multiple people at tables.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were the only ones in there.
So, okay, but you made it home ahead of the storm. Which made Jim very happy.
We made it home.
Did you see we got a tornado touchdown in Hendricks County? Did you see this?
I saw lots of pictures. People were posting lots of pictures. 60+ mile per hour winds, tornadoes reported, damage across the area.
Yeah, it was. I have a friend whose brother lives outside of Amo and took a fabulous photo. I've actually got it up at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter if you'd like to see it. I've got the photo in one of my posts there. That is, look, at any time in central Indiana that bad weather can strike at any moment. And by the way, think about what a huge benefit to humanity, and I say this with all sincerity, that advances in weather technology have been, to the point where, we're watching the weather broadcast and you can within a minute, because Gabrielle kept going, we should go in the bathroom. I said, they're telling you it's 10 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take a 20-month-old and stick her in a bathroom for 1 minute more than we have to? Like, they're telling you. They've got it down to the point now where they're saying if you're in Brownsburg, which they did because it was Lisden and Lebanon and all those people were in the area of potential danger, they're telling you now within minutes of when the thing is going to hit you and when then you can leave. And so something that, even 15 or 20 years ago, you might spend 20 or 30 minutes in a closet or a bathroom or whatever. It's a 5-minute ordeal now, and then the thing passes, and thankfully where we were at, nobody was injured or there wasn't any sort of severe damage or anything. There really wasn't much of anything.
Did you lose power at all?
Nothing.
No, Duke Energy reported that 161 outages affected over 10,000 customers.
And then because my wife will not listen to me, but she will listen to my old man, like I'm telling her, I said, okay, it was 2 or 3 minutes in the bathroom. We can go out now. She's like, nuh-uh. It's like they're telling you on TV you can go out now. No, I don't think so. So I text my dad. I said, will you tell her we can go out now? Because she'll listen to you. She won't listen to me. He texts her. And,
he's seasoned.
Well, 10 seconds later, okay, we can go out now. Why? He's telling you the same thing I'm telling you. We're watching the same TV broadcast.
She's just taking him a little bit more seriously.
Like what? Is he some weather expert? Is he Kevin Gregory reincarnated now?
Well, I'm glad that you didn't sustain any damage at your house. Neither did we, but some people did.
Why don't anybody? In my own house, people don't listen to me. We're watching the television broadcast. They're telling you. Literally, the weather lady is saying, if you're in Brownsburg, you're fine. It has passed you. You're in no immediate danger of it. Why do I even try anymore?
Yeah.
I've lost control of my own home.
Well, today is the official first day of spring. It happened at 5:01 this morning. So it's already begun. By the way, for the first day of spring, we can expect possibly some snow flurries. That's
in that Indiana weather.
Right.
Who it goes from
tornadoes,
70 and sunny.
Storms, winds. Right. Within a 24-hour span, you had sunshine, storms, tornado sightings, and now today, possible snow flurries.
Yeah, that's correct.
But by this weekend, Friday and Saturday is supposed to be sunny, high in the mid-50s.
All right, we got to take a break because when we come back, the property tax bills have arrived. And it's, once again, not good. And the people down the street from us still don't care at all.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Indianapolis roads, a total disaster. Some of the worst potholes in America. Am I right?
A car on Keystone Avenue just fell into one the size of a swimming pool.
Disgraceful. These roads should be great again. But right now, they look like the surface of the moon.
Suspension repair shops are making a fortune.
Rigged system. But Matt Bear, he's the guy to trust. Tremendous at avoiding these disasters. Just tremendous.
Matt Bear, making your commute great again. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-268-4420. 800-268-4420. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-268-4420.
Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the Artist Robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
Health gives you the ability to love more, feel more, be more. Health gives you the ability to live an extraordinary life. Because every day, no matter the challenges, is a chance to breathe, laugh until your belly aches, cry because you care so much, and experience everything that makes your life truly extraordinary. For 150 years, Franciscan Health has been there, watching extraordinary lives unfold. Love your extraordinary life.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Welcome to Tire Discounters.
Thanks. I gotta warn you, I drive a hard bargain.
Okay.
So let's hear your first offer.
Well, how about,
Yeah.
with any 4-tire purchase,
Yeah.
we'll give you a free alignment.
Man, I'm good. All right, let's do it before you change your mind.
And we'll also give you a free oil change.
Ha! I can't believe I talked you into this deal. Sometimes I amaze even myself. Don't tell accounting. But with any 4-tire purchase at Tire Discounters, you get a free alignment and a free full synthetic oil change. See store for details.
JMV from Miss M's Home and Garden. Nursery stock is arriving daily. 20% off all container trees and shrubs in stock. State Road 135, just south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Casey, the property tax bills are showing up.
Yeah, they're starting to come out, and boy, oh boy, people are not happy.
So our old pal, what's his name? Fireman. What the heck's his name? Oh, we have so many listeners. Fireman Joe. Duh. Sent me his bill, and it was like a $900 increase. He lives in Avon.
Wow.
Like a $900 increase.
I bet he shops at the Avon Mire.
Unbelievable, right? So I was chuckling yesterday because my bill went up like $135. This is how bad it's gotten, where your bill goes up $135 and you're like, woo, I did better than a lot of people. I should consider myself lucky.
Yeah, you dodged a big one there. I saw somebody post online. They said, just reviewed our property tax bill, up a staggering 15% from last year. It's an absolute travesty and a glaring showcase of government overreach gone wild. Who truly owns our homes, us or the government relentlessly taxing us into submission?
Well, and like I think about, I did not own the home in 21, but I went back and looked at the previous bills, and the bill for the owner then was like $1,600. So my bill is up, I don't know, whatever it is now. It's like $600 or something like that since then. So I mean, it's all, you can extrapolate it however you want. Now some areas are seeing higher increases than others. Obviously, there are people like we're talking about who are getting $900 increases who are like, oh, you and your poor $135 increase. Mm-hmm. It's all ridiculous. It's all utterly ridiculous when you extrapolate this out to what has happened the last 4 or 5 years. And then you couple this with the property tax rally, where other than the 3 reps that were scheduled to speak, not one of those people came down. Not one of them said, I'd like to meet some of you. I'd like to hear your story. I'd like to know what's going on with you. I'd like to know how I can help you. None of them. Think about that. 150 people in the Indiana General Assembly. They know what's going on. They know how people are getting screwed. They know why these people are here. Mm-hmm. You don't have to speak, but not one of you cared enough to come down and go, hey, how can I help?
Right.
What can I do to try to understand you better?
Hey, I'm hearing a lot about this. So tell me more. Tell me about your bill. What's got you worked up?
Yeah, and look, the system is beyond repair given the current system. And that's why the Braun plan makes so much sense, right? It is the system until the state steps in and changes the system. This will continue to happen, which is, as long as the assessments are being based on unrealized capital gains, as long as the assessment system is being based on what some other guy sells his home for, you're never going to get out of this. You're never going to be able to undo this because the market now is set at what it is. And clearly, We hear all these stories about, well, it's not going up as much as it did last year. Seems like a lot of people are still really getting screwed. And if you look at my annual increase, it's right in line with what other, if you figure it's gone up basically, $600 over the past 5 years, the $135 increase is essentially right in line with what that home has seen every single year. So it is kind of what we continue to see. It is the screwing is continuing to happen. And yet, who in the General Assembly, other than the three guys, Haggard, Ireland, and Prescott, who spoke at our rally, who's saying anything about this? Who's leading on this? Who's the person who wants to do something to help you? The answer is nobody.
Okay.
Yes, Jeff Thompson, Mr. Mackey.
I'm curious because I haven't heard anything. I didn't look. When are they meeting again to talk about what they're doing?
Well, they probably had to bring someone who understood hieroglyphics to come in and translate that bill to the Ways and Means that Thompson presented. So who knows? I don't know if the hieroglyphics person is readily available. Also, someone who may be able to translate Chinese. I don't know if that is readily available. It probably took them a while. But that bill is not going to do anything. It's not going to help anybody. He admitted that, right? What did he say? Our goal is to decrease your increase. So they're saying, well, we're going to keep screwing you. We're not going to give you any relief. And maybe we'll save you, my bill's only going to go up $90 next year?
I'm curious if he's crafting more because he said, this isn't the one that's going to be in the bill.
I'm
going to work on that.
I don't want Jeff Thompson crafting anything else because Jeff Thompson crafted in 22 and it didn't help anyone. He crafted again this year and no one could understand a damn word that he said. I'm done with Jeff Thompson and the crafting. Done with that.
So the Indiana Farm Bureau said that property tax reform is the top piece of legislation that they're pushing for state lawmakers to pass this session.
So the residents have said this is our top priority. The farmers have said this is our top priority.
The governor has said this is our top priority.
What will make these people? That's a great point. So you have the governor, the people, the farmers. They're all saying this is the top thing. What will make the General Assembly do something meaningful? Like who else has to get involved? Who else are you waiting for? It's not like the farmers and the homeowners are at odds. They're both like, yeah, this is the top priority. The governor's like, yeah, this is the top priority. Who is the person that will make you do something at this point?
Right. Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, when did they meet again? Where are we with this?
Somebody made a great point yesterday, and I want to share this. It's actually my friend Jeremiah Morrill. He has a very fabulous podcast. He lives out in Newcastle, and his podcast, it's a great podcast. It's like the Newcastle, Henry County, like it is the place people get their news in Henry County and Newcastle. It's called the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. It's him and a group of guys, and they have a office in the greater Newcastle area, and it's great. And he was making the point about, and this is so true because he knows Indiana politics very, very well, and he knows these guys very well. And he said, normally, it is like the bizarro world here, because normally you have a General Assembly who is much more in touch with the people and the governor who is largely insulated and out of touch with the people. And it is the governor's office who fights because the reps and the senators hear from the people and then they respond. And he said, this is this uber rare anomaly where the governor
is more in touch.
Totally. Braun is exactly where the people are. And it is the legislature, your House reps and senators, who are completely non-responsive to their constituents.
And what an opportunity any one of them could have had, except for the three that spoke. They were there. They get it. But any one of those reps or senators could have just come down, shaken some hands, hey, said anything.
Right.
Hey, I understand you're hurting. We're working on it. They didn't even have to solve the problem right then and there, but just make an appearance.
Yes.
Put your face in front of people. No, instead
Put your freaking face in front of people.
Instead, they were hiding on the fourth floor, eavesdropping down, and telling their staff not to support what was going on.
But that's and Jeremiah and I were talking about this in our text thread back and forth. He said the reason they're so non-responsive, and he's absolutely right, is the districts are so competitive. And what I mean by that is they've gerrymandered the districts to where once you get out of your primary, you can't basically be beat Democrat or Republican. You almost never see districts flip anymore. It's super rare. That's why if you look at the numbers of the General Assembly the last 5 years or more, since they redid the census and everything, the numbers have basically not changed. But so you're not going to have a competitive. You have to be responsive because once you're in, you're in. And it's hard to win in a primary because of the money. And if you look at the way they rigged the system now, where these guys quit with a year to go in their term, the party insiders pick some stooge who then gets to be the state rep or the senator and starts with a year's advantage in terms of being able to dole out favors and connections for fundraising. And then you start with a massive fundraising disadvantage. They've rigged the system to where these people, they don't fear anything anymore. What are you going to do to me? Yeah. Who are you going to run against me? What are you going to do? Oh, you're going to start with $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 fundraising disadvantage? Well, good luck.
Good luck.
Guess you better get started on that.
Yeah. So Diego Morales had a budget hearing yesterday, but he wasn't there.
So remember, it went so bad the last time when Ed Delaney depantsed him that he just said, screw it, I'm not showing up to my budget hearing.
Correct.
Where he's asking for money from the General Assembly.
Correct.
And he didn't even show up.
Correct.
Where was he?
We'll get that answer coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
What a day.
You're working too hard.
We're both working too hard with even less to show for it.
What's this?
It's the bills for Tracy's procedure.
This is outrageous.
I know. And Mom just said her prescriptions went up again.
How can working people afford this?
These medical bills are crushing our finances, and these hospitals and insurance groups are making record profits.
You know, I read Indiana has the 9th highest healthcare costs in the nation, and prescription drug costs are out of control.
That's why I voted for Mike Braun. He has a plan to reform Indiana's broken healthcare system. Braun's plan calls for billing transparency, increased access, and lower costs for all Hoosiers.
I hear you. It's good to know help is on the way. Mike Braun's plan will offer real relief for our family budget.
Sign the petition for Braun's healthcare plan at HoosierHope.org. Join Mike Braun's fight for healthcare reform today. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A close call. Scattered showers on radar in downtown Indianapolis where it's 37 degrees, but with the wind chill, feels like it's about 25. Today's high 46. I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's what's trending at 9:31. 75 people were inside the Franklin Skate Club near US 31 last night when a storm ripped off part of the roof. Major Andy Fisher is with the Johnson County Sheriff's Office.
We did respond to some power lines down in the southern part of the county, Centerline Road area, Division Road areas, some tree limbs down. I know that the city of Franklin had an incident with a roof on one of their buildings.
And the National Weather Service says they are sending investigators out to Vigo and Bartholomew counties this morning where they believe tornadoes touched down in those counties. A gambling addiction is why a woman in Newcastle says she stole nearly $250,000 from a church where she was a treasurer. Annie Nunn faces 5 felony counts for stealing from Grand Avenue Baptist Church. Church leaders say they discovered the missing money when 2 checks bounced last month. Nunn's left letters admitting to the theft. President Trump is expected to start shutting down the Department of Education today. He will sign an executive order at the White House and then direct Education Secretary Linda McMahon to begin closing the department. And it is game day for the Purdue Boilermakers as they begin their March Madness tournament run against High Point. Head coach Matt Painter.
High Point is a very good team. They're well coached.
I've been in his practices when he was a prep school coach. He coached, anytime you can dominate your league, win your tournament, and win 14 straight games, like that's respect, man.
And the Boilermakers are 7.5-point favorites. The game starts at 12:40. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. All three major indices are down this morning. The Dow is down 213 points to 41,964.63. The S&P down 33 to 5675.29. And the NASDAQ down 144 to 19,736.66. I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
I'll say this. There are no entries in the Hoops Fan Hall of Fame who didn't show up to the game. Yes, you in the back.
Professor, March Madness is coming to Indianapolis. Are we ready?
You prepared to bring the fire? Give it 110 from tip to the final buzzer? Oh, you're ready. The NCAA Sweet 16 and Elite 8, March 28th and 30th in Indianapolis. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MBB tickets. Class dismissed.
From a fast break to recovery, Indiana hospitals are here for every Hoosier, regardless of their ability to pay. That's why we're teaming up with legislators on a winning playbook to lower costs and protect access to care across our communities. Because good policy doesn't leave anyone on the sidelines. Learn more at HoosierLifeline.com.
Paid for by the Indiana Hospital Association.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. When your garage floor has stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your whole garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job looks even worse. Look, spring will be here on March 20th. For your best price of the year on your new garage floor, basement, or patio, and installation this spring, please call me now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Guaranteed, a Comer & Cross concrete floor coating won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. In one day, we make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And apply your gleaming new Comer & Cross concrete floor in 6 stages, just in time for spring. For your best price of the year on your new garage floor, basement, or patio, and installation by spring, please call me now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
Whether you're preparing for retirement, navigating a life transition, or simply wondering if you're on the right path, Howard Bailey Financial is here to help. Together, we'll work on a personalized plan designed to bring greater clarity to your goals and help you approach decisions with confidence. It's not just about numbers, it's about the life you want to lead and the legacy you want to leave behind. With over 20 years of experience, Howard Bailey Financial has been dedicated to guiding individuals as they work toward taking control of their financial future and finding peace of mind. Text PATH to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement toolkit and start planning for the retirement you've dreamed of. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Divorce changes your life and the lives of your children. This change can be good or bad. The outcome depends greatly on the attorney that you choose. So interview more than one attorney. Family law experience, especially trial experience, is important, but so is temperament and judgment. Also, remember to consider Cordell & Cordell. We've been serving men in divorce for over 30 years.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Indianapolis area attorneys. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So many people think that Governor Braun might put the property tax relief inside the budget. I'm curious, Rob, what would happen? Because Jim Merritt believes he could veto that. What would happen in that
so
case?
Merritt was with us yesterday. Yes, Merritt was with us yesterday. And so I think the problem with Merritt is he operates as an altruistic guy who wants good things to happen. And he's hearkening back to a time where he was in the legislature and everybody kind of got along and there was some sense of obligation to the taxpayers. He's thinking of how things would have operated under, say, Mitch Daniels, right? That does not exist anymore. Clearly, these lawmakers do not care at all, right? Like, how many years do your property taxes have to go up 10 or 15%? What, year 5 is not enough? Maybe year 6? They don't care. They don't care. But if you were to play out his scenario, Jim Merritt believes that the House and Senate are going to tuck whatever, because right now, Braun can and will veto whatever garbage is put in front of him if it looks either like 1402 out of the House or Senate Bill 1. He will veto either one of those, no doubt about it. And what Merritt's theory is because the lawmakers don't want to do anything and the governor's going to veto the bill, is that they will tuck it into the budget and then essentially dare the governor to veto the budget. Right? Yeah. I don't think that in Merritt's day that might have been how it would work, because there was some decency amongst people. I think these lawmakers are so arrogant, they don't care. I think they're going to pass whatever the bill is, and they're going to go, sign it, don't sign it, we don't care. Now, obviously, with a veto, Indiana has a very low... Indiana is an odd state in the sense of the governor has strong administrative powers, as we saw during COVID with Holcomb, but very low legislative power. So from the standpoint of, if a governor vetoes any bill, all it takes is 50% plus 1 to override a governor's veto. So obviously, if it passed once before, then all they would have to do is come back and pass it again. Now, normally, on bills, unless there's some high priority bill that gets vetoed by the governor, which is very rare, they just wait until the next session, unless it's something pressing, and then they'll come back when they come back again, and then they'll override that veto. Now, in this case, if it were the budget, they would have to come back and override the governor's veto, because they would want to continue to fund the state at whatever level that they have decided. I think they're so arrogant, I don't think they'll do that, but that is a possibility that they could do, which would set up a fascinating showdown, because in recent history, and I'm saying 50 years or more, if ever, the governor has not vetoed the budget of the state of Indiana.
Right. So they've been talking a lot about the budget, and the Secretary of State, he was absent.
Diego Morales, yeah, he was absent during his part of the budget hearing. Okay, so this is hilarious for several reasons. One, the way the budget works like any other bill, where it's emanated in the House. It was House Bill 1001, their version of Senate Bill 1. They pass it out of the House, which it did. It's whatever it is. It's a $46.7 billion proposed budget, which is 2.7-ish billion higher than what they had before. It then goes to the Senate, and it starts all over again. So just like on Senate Bill 1, there was a hearing on that in the House. Now the budget has a hearing in front of the tax committee in the Senate, and all the people who were heard in front of the House have to go back in front of the Senate. Well, Diego Morales was so pathetic in his House hearing. Remember Ed Delaney thoroughly depanced him, talking about how he's hiring his brother-in-law, and he's got all these no-bid contracts. And he basically, it was like an SNL skit with him sitting there. He's so pathetic. Instead of just getting his act together and having answers, because there are no answers for these things.
He was MIA.
He just said, screw it, I'm not going.
Yeah, he's just not going to show up. Well, they asked his deputy, where was he? Why isn't he here? Listen to this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So where's the Secretary of State?
He's traveling today on an economic development project. I can't really tell you specifically at this minute where he's at.
Senator, I will say that he did reach out to us and tried to do a different day, and we couldn't accommodate that. So
I appreciate that. I think this is the second time before this committee that he misses a meeting. So my comments directed towards the agency is that I think every statewide official showed up before this committee, and I don't know what's more important. It's not the job of the Secretary of State to be traveling for economic development. I think that's either IEDC or somebody else. We have a secretary for that. But I think it's disappointing that he's not here to represent the mission of his office and ask for what is needed for the next few years. Can you talk to me about how does your office audit for nepotism and for any relationship between family members working in the office? Do you have an audit for that, or what internal controls do you have in the office to prevent that from happening?
Well, as a matter of internal control, it's not happening. As attorney, I'm monitoring internal controls, and you might be referring to someone who people believe is related to the Secretary of State, but doesn't fall into the statutory definition of relation. So the General Assembly has not prohibited that single employment of a well-skilled person. So our first calendar year of operations.
Okay, Paul, this is enough. No. So let's address a couple of things. Number one, the most important thing any statewide elected official does is their budget. Number one priority is your budget. Whatever your job is, imagine what the one thing each year, if there's some meeting, if there's some conference, if there's some client that above all else, we have to make these people happy. We have to present at this thing. It is the equivalent of blowing off that thing to go do some fringe thing.
Some economic development trip.
What in the world?
I'm glad somebody asked. That's not even part of his job.
Right. It'd be the equivalent of, I don't even know what it'd be the equivalent of in a real job. But I guess unless you're Micah Beckwith, they don't strip your budget, so he doesn't care. Unless you're Micah Beckwith, they don't take responsibilities away from you, so he doesn't care. The things they have actually done to Micah Beckwith, who's done nothing wrong, who hasn't screwed anything up yet, they should be doing Diego Morales, taking agencies away from him, taking responsibilities away from him, trimming his budget, because he is a complete joke, a total disgrace, and an utter buffoon. But they'll go after the guy who's done nothing wrong because they don't like him. Meanwhile, this complete slug, joke of a human being and joke of an office holder, just keeps getting whatever he wants and more, and he doesn't even show up.
He's not even there.
He's spitting all over these people, and they won't do a damn thing to him, Casey.
So they question, obviously, the hiring of his brother-in-law. But another thing that they questioned him about was spending on promotional road maps that have his name on them that obviously cost some money. So
who's even using a road map in?
And that's what they said. They were like, in this digital age, when you've got maps on your phone, who is pulling out a paper map?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Why do they have his name on it? It looks like a campaign piece.
But here's the thing. These guys could fix this tomorrow. They could have fixed it yesterday by saying, we're not giving you a dime until he shows up. Not one penny. For the attorney, for Diego, for his brother-in-law, none of this. None of it is, he's not getting one penny until he shows up. But you know what? They didn't do that, Casey.
No.
They'll give him what he wants.
They just moved on with the meeting.
They'll probably give him more. He'll probably get a budget increase. And the only guy they'll do anything to is Micah Beckwith because they hate him. This is the guy that they have the ability to hold him accountable, and they're not doing it. And then they want to bitch and moan and whine and complain, and nobody ever does anything about it.
You want to talk about narcissistic behavior? Diego loves to slap his name on anything he can.
Why wouldn't he? Nobody ever does anything to this guy. They all know what he is. They all know what he does. Nobody does anything.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it this afternoon, 3:06. We've got Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. Rob Kendall off the rails, 93 WIBC.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Finally, spring has sprung, and Sullivan Hardware and Garden in Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan are celebrating with our spring open house this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Pat Sullivan here, and that means Pansy Roulette, where everyone is a winner. You could receive between 10 and 100% off your purchase of gift items, plants, garden accents, and grill accessories. Just pick a pansy, go shopping, and let your cashier open the tab to reveal your savings. Check the specials on all of our patio furniture, pre-season priced at 30% off. During this event, you'll get an extra 10% off. Make sure you see the additional spring open house specials throughout all of our stores. And on Saturday, there'll be free seminars on plants, lawns, decorating, container gardening, and much more. Shop, play, experience. Spring with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
If you used to hear a whole lot of this, but now you can barely hear this, you need to check out RelayIndiana.com and Captel, the caption telephone. Captel allows you to get your groove back when using the telephone. It uses voice recognition technology so you can read on a bright screen what the other caller is saying. Go to RelayIndiana.com and add clarity back into your conversations with Captel, the caption telephone from Relay Indiana. Visit RelayIndiana.com now.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay. We have to have this conversation.
Okay. Do we? We have to.
I don't really want to have it.
I think you do.
But I need to ask you if I'm weird or if this is a common thing with you guys.
Okay.
Are you weirded out when you go to a public restroom and you have to do number one and there's somebody already in there doing number two?
No, I'm not weirded out. I just try and go in, do my number one, and leave as quickly as possible.
Okay, I'm not asking for a detailed description, but in the women's restroom, are there 2 stalls?
I think there's 3.
Oh, there's 3.
I think there's 2 stalls and a handicap
See, it's
stall.
different for women because women, it looks
They're
the
all
same.
stalls.
Yeah, it all looks the same, right? You don't know what somebody's doing.
Right.
But in the men's restroom here, there are 2 urinals, which is all working, thankfully. That's an upgrade for us.
Right.
They're all working properly.
That's good.
And there is a divider between the urinals, and then there's a stall next to it.
So one stall in there?
And it weirds me out because I never know how to respond or to react when somebody is in there and then they're using the stall.
You know what they're doing.
You know what they're doing. There's audio accompanying the thing. And it's like, are they weirded out now because they know somebody's in here hearing them?
Yeah, they're probably weirded out.
Because I can have somebody next to me at the urinal and it's fine. There's a divider. That's no problem at all. But I never know how to, my goal is just get out of there as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Because I feel maybe it's because I'm such a giver. I feel like I'm disrupting them.
That's what you're doing.
It's like you were here first.
Yes. They want a little privacy. They need to do their business, and they're going to wait it out until you exit.
So I had this happen again today, and I hate this. I walk in there, and there's only so many times I can go because we got to get back here for the commercial breaks, whatever. And it's like, I got to do it, but I'm intruding it. So I've walked into your house.
Right. You're invading their space.
And they know I'm there. And so few people work here because you were like, well, if it were me, I would just wait till you left and then come out. And I was like, there's so few people who work here, I know their shoes now. There's so few people who work in this building, I know their shoes. And then the person who is a wonderful person came out of the stall and we look at each other and it's like,
you know what they just did.
I'm sorry. I just want to say, I so badly. Does this ever happen to either one of you guys where you just want to say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. You were here first. I feel like like how the people who took the land from the Indians must have felt. I'm sorry, but we had to expand. We had to go west.
I think you should have cheered them on. You know, woo, you can do it. How's it going in there? All right, come on, buddy. Because, you know, it's a sign of good health, right?
This is why I will never use, if I have to do that, I will never use the restrooms on this floor. Because I don't want people having that over me of, hey, I know what Rob's like in the can. I go down to the basement. There's the gym basement, which nobody is almost ever in now because so few people work here.
Yeah.
And you can...
You still got your modesty when it comes to that area.
It does. And the other day, I had to do this. Has been a while ago, maybe a month ago. I had to do it, and somebody was in the gym, and they were leaving, and I just did like the whistling thing where I was like, "Oh, just here to wash my hands." Did it, left, waited around the corner for that guy to leave, and I was like, "Oh, thank goodness he finally left." Like that's how paranoid I am about it.
You're so embarrassed by the whole thing. Well, that's okay. You can be modest with that.
But Kevin will back me up on this because you also find you don't have to reveal it because I don't want people stealing it from you, but there is a relatively unused portalette.
Yeah, I was actually in the elevator one day, and some woman told me about how there's a floor in this building where no one is on now.
Sure.
There's a secret bathroom?
And I don't think she was trying to tell me that there's a secret bathroom, but she told me that, and I was like, oh, wait, there probably is a secret bathroom that I can go to.
You got the context clues.
And you found it.
I found it, but every now and then when I'll be in there, someone will walk in, and then I'll hear them walk out.
Yeah, okay, so good. So I am not alone in this, but you don't have this issue in the women's res. You don't feel that. You don't feel any pressure. You don't feel bad if you walk in on some woman. It would be harder for you to know that it's taking place.
Well, right, because they're always in the stall.
Right, that's correct.
For the woman.
Exactly.
Yeah, and well, you mentioned there's so few people. There's, me and Terry Stacy and occasionally Kylan's here.
Right. So you know who's doing what.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. I think you just need to be grateful that at least that person who we're not mentioning to protect the innocent.
Right, they did nothing wrong. I'm to blame, Casey. That's the thing. I am to blame. I feel like I am the bad guy.
At least he went into the restroom to do his business rather than that guy on video last night who was grabbing his backside and wiping it all over the Tesla. Did you see that video?
What are you saying, woman?
These people have lost their minds with the Tesla drivers. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
So to that person, if they can hear, of course they can't hear us right now because they don't play the radio station in the hall anymore, but I'm sorry. You were not to blame. I don't feel like I was to blame. It's just a bad set of circumstances, and I am terribly sorry for that position I put you in.
You need I don't know, hang something on the door on the outside when it's in use.
Occupado.
Yeah. You need vacant, available, that thing. It's Kendall and Casey.
Segment. We're number one.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Zero Res, and the flash sale is on. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $109. When was the last time you gave your carpet some love? Listen, they are the largest air filter in your home, and unless those carpets are cleaned on a regular basis, the stuff that's in the fibers can be downright scary. There's a good chance you're breathing unhealthy levels of germs and dander and dirt and bacteria that just keep recirculating again and again. Well, with the Zero Res March Flash Sale special of 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $109, pick up the phone or go online and book your carpets today. And with their Gotta Love It guarantee, they're going to make sure your investment with them is a great experience. The Zero Res service is easy to line up. Just go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Mention WIBC, get 3 rooms cleaned starting at $109. $109! It's the Zero Res Flash Sale. Call 317-388-5141 or online at ZeroResIndy.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Community is defined as a group of people that have a shared interest or things in common. Imagine a group of people where the shared interest is the truth of God's Word and speaking life over one another and each other's families. Hi, I'm Daniel Beckwith, the online campus pastor at Life Church, and that's the type of community you can find here. Just go to lifechurchin.com to find any of our locations and service times or special events. We're confident God has something here just for you. See you soon.
Beds are us when dreams don't get in. Beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bedsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
Beds are us when dreams don't get in. Beds are us.
Looking for a great deal on a new Lincoln? Come to Tom Roush Lincoln. Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators now $15,000 off and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. We look forward to seeing you at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 57,785. Offers good through March 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
I'll say this. There are no entries in the Hoops Fan Hall of Fame who didn't show up to the game. Yes, you in the back.
Professor, March Madness is coming to Indianapolis. Are we ready?
You prepared to bring the fire? Give it 110 from tip to the final buzzer? Oh, you're ready. The NCAA Sweet 16 and Elite 8, March 28th and 30th in Indianapolis. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVB tickets. Class dismissed.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what the weather brought Wednesday night in Indiana and what lies ahead with it today. Who stole money from a church and got caught, and what nonprofit hospitals in Indiana are going through. Those stories and more after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's now 10 o'clock.
A 2-month report card. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. President Trump's second term in office started 2 months ago today. There are new Fox polls about how he and some members of his administration are doing.
The poll shows 49% of voters like what the president is doing. As for others, Secretary of State Marco Rubio breaks even. 47% approve, 47% don't. Vice President J.D. Vance has 45% liking the job he's doing, while Elon Musk, working with Doge, is at 40% approval. Speaking of making government more efficient, 51% of voters say they oppose reducing federal government employees, while 43% say the president is doing a poor job in identifying wasteful government spending. On tariffs, 53% say they think it will hurt the U.S. economy. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
And the president this afternoon is expected to sign an executive order to dismantle the Federal Department of Education. It can only be fully eliminated, though, by approval of Congress. Hamas claims responsibility for rocket attacks into Israel with no injuries reported. More than 500 Palestinians are reported to have been killed since the resumption of Israeli airstrikes in Gaza.
The Israeli military has begun ground operations in Gaza, sending troops back in for the first time yesterday. It's been 2 days since Israel relaunched its military operation, marking the collapse of the ceasefire, which started 2 months ago. Ground forces have moved back into the Netzarim corridor. It's the roadway that splits the Gaza Strip down the middle.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Ukraine's President Zelensky says he didn't feel pressured by President Trump's suggestion during their phone call yesterday that the United States take ownership of Ukrainian power plants to ensure their security. Zelensky has agreed to a limited ceasefire with Russia to not attack each other's energy infrastructure. It's not clear when that might actually take effect. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What the storm left behind. It's cloudy, rainy, and 38 degrees in downtown Indy, but it feels like 22. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Rain, wind, hail, and tornadoes left damage across Indiana Wednesday night.
One is in Vigo County, where we had a pretty intense storm roll through with some signatures that prompted us to issue a tornado warning. We also have reports and damage, what it looks like down in Bartholomew County.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says you can expect cooler temperatures mixed in with some rain and snow today. Gas price spike. The statewide average for gas today is now up to $3.15 a gallon, says Gas Buddy. That's up 21 cents from this time last week. You might be wondering, who steals money from a church? Well, police say a Newcastle church treasurer named Amy Nunn did that. The cops believe Nunn stole more than $200,000 to fund her gambling addiction. Church leaders say they discovered the money was missing at the start of the year. Nunn's now facing 5 felony charges. Nonprofit hospitals in Indiana would have a choice if a bill passed in a Senate committee on Wednesday becomes law. Charge less in facility fees or pay an excise tax. Chris Davis breaks it down.
Too many Hoosiers pay hospital prices that are high and out of kilter nationally.
He's Matt Bell with Hoosiers for Affordable Health Care.
House Bill 1004 creates an option, a choice. Bring prices to a reasonable place or pay a penalty associated with that.
But the bill he's talking about bothered some of the lawmakers on the Senate Health and Provider Services Committee who voted for it. If hospitals charge more than 265% the Medicare reimbursement rate, they pay the tax, and some hospitals believe that could put them out of business. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Back-to-back wins in a row for the Indiana Pacers. Their latest victory was a 135-131 triumph over the Dallas Mavericks Wednesday night. Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle says he really enjoyed watching Benedict Mathurin score 16 of his 23 points in the fourth quarter.
Well, we were desperate. We got down 11, I think it was. His fourth quarter was enormously important.
The Pacers face Brooklyn tonight at home. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 10:04, Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Best decision I ever made was having Window Nation windows installed in my house, saving me a bunch of money on energy. My old windows were cracked and drafty and letting the air through. Window Nation came in and took care of all that within a day. And you know what? Window Nation windows are high quality and affordable. Right now, you can get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. And you can get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027.
This is the deal you want. 2 windows for free with every 2 that you buy. Plus 0 interest, 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027. Call a representative at Window Nation right now. They will walk you through the entire process. 866-90-NATION. Get that fast, free estimate right now with Window Nation. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Hold the presses, Casey.
What's up?
Hold the presses.
Okay, I'm holding.
The Indiana General Assembly is doing something that I like and agree with.
Yeah, me too. Good for them.
That's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. There is this... Look, a lot of these bills, whether it's Medicaid or the budget or the property tax, that's getting all the attention. But there's all this other work, of course, going on behind the scenes. Hundreds and hundreds of bills are reviewed every session, and a lot of them don't get the publicity they deserve. But this is actually a really important bill on an issue that is becoming a bigger and bigger problem, not just in Indiana, but across this country. And that is they're trying to address what is known as swatting.
Yeah.
So swatting, for those of you who may not be familiar, it's where someone places a call to 911. This is usually done around public figures or people who are disliked by the masses or by a large group of people. And one of the ways that people try to basically terrorize these people is they call 911 and they say there's an active shooter or someone being strangled or held at gunpoint.
Hostage situation.
At such and such an address. Well, obviously, unless law enforcement knows, hey, so-and-so lives there and they're prone to get threats or whatever, then they'll just write like they're going to take off. That's what you would expect 911 to do, where they'll bring a SWAT team, which is why it's called swatting, or, large amount of law enforcement officers. And depending on how the thing is structured, if you don't know how to get a hold of the people in there or whatever, they can come in the house potentially, who knows what. And it has resulted in not only people being terrorized. Obviously, imagine if a large amount of law enforcement show up at your house, or a mobile command unit shows up, or one of those armored tanks or whatever. But it could ultimately result in people being killed, because if law enforcement comes into the house with guns or whatever, and you have no idea what's going on, who knows? I mean, this is and it's happening obviously in the digital age more and more and more as you're able to find out where quote unquote celebrities live or whatever. And I was amazed at this, that it is not a felony in the state of Indiana to do this right now.
No, so swatting, it's the act of making a false report, and it's to create panic and harm the target. That's the entire goal. But SB 198 is a bill that was heard by the Senate Corrections and Criminal Law Committee. It was authored by Senator Freeman, and the bill passed the committee with a 9-0 vote. And what it does is it elevates swatting, one of the penalties, to a level 6 felony.
Yeah, this is a complete no-brainer that this should be a felony. And I was amazed that it wasn't already, because there's a real chance when you do something like this, you talk about threats, intimidation, all these things that are already felonies. This is it. It's that. And there's a real chance you could get somebody killed depending on how law enforcement handles the issue. And it's it's to the point now where a lot of these super famous people, they have their people just contact law enforcement ahead of time and say, if you're not known in a community or whatever, hey, so-and-so lives here, they could potentially be a target for this. And so please use discretion if you get some sort of call, to this home. But I mean, it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be a deranged ex-lover or, whatever. Anybody could potentially do this.
I saw about half a dozen examples of this just last week. These conservative social media influencers that were just being swatted one after the other. So this is a great change to Indiana law. The sad part about it is it's like, oh, here's another new crime that now we have to legislate to respond to this.
Yeah, and you know how I am. The government should be involved in minimal things, but in this case, I'm actually surprised it's only a level 6 felony. I mean, you think about you think about the harm that could come from this. Like I said, at least they're now doing something. They're doing something about this.
It's supposed to head to the governor's desk, where I'm sure he'll sign that. Something else that's going on here in Indiana, the Indiana National Guard started a 12-month deployment to the southern border. Big price tag, $9 million. So the first deployment ended in late February, and now a new group of 50 soldiers are going to be sent shortly, and this is all part of Operation Lone Star.
Well, okay, first of all, God bless the people who serve in the National Guard and are willing to do that. And, it's like pre-Iraq War, everybody was kind of like, oh, the National Guard, what a great way to get all your benefits and not have any sort of, intense obligation like we traditionally, associate with troops in the Army or Navy or whatever. But in a post 9/11 world, the National Guard has been used so much and more in such diverse areas and ways that they are oftentimes every bit as involved as, a traditional soldier might be. And you think about the life that these people are living and now are going to be away from their families and everything else, which is what you sign up for. There's obviously benefits to being in the National Guard, and part of it you give, you get, but for these people, they're willing to give and risk their lives potentially in order to. Now, I don't think they're on the ground with a lot of hand-to-hand combat. I think it's a lot of logistics, et cetera, that they're going to be assisting
processing
the border patrol with. But still, I mean, you're uprooting your existence, and thank you to those people that are willing to do it.
So Governor Holcomb, he authorized that 10-month deployment last year, And Governor Braun has since indicated that, Indiana's National Guard, their presence in Texas would continue. But here's something to consider. As you mentioned, all the soldiers on this mission, they volunteered.
Yeah, well.
And there were more volunteers than available spots for
and
the
it
mission.
really does show you the importance that our country, that members of our military, et cetera, place on what's going on at the border, that they are willing, like you said, to raise their hands and say, hey, I'll go. And what a sense of obligation.
Yeah.
You see these people who do this, and it really makes you check yourself, right? Because you're like, what do I really do?
What am I complaining about?
I mean, right. And obviously, the great thing about our society is you can, as long as you're not harming anyone else, you can complain about whatever you want. You can have whatever opinion you want. You're a taxpayer. You're a law-abiding citizen. You're free to voice that opinion. Go for it. I'm not in any way insinuating that. But you do look at these people who are willing to potentially pay the ultimate sacrifice, who go out of a sin, not because they had to in many cases, but because they said, I'll do it. And man, that's a special type of person.
So the illegal crossings have decreased a lot, and they're at the lowest levels that they've been at in 25 years. So what is going on in Cumberland, Rob?
This is really interesting. So the Indy Star had a big article about this. The town of Cumberland is trying to extract itself, for lack of a better term, from Unigov, and wants to be its own entity without having its thumb put on it by Marion County and the city of Indianapolis. And for those of you who are longtime Hoosiers and were around for Unigov or have been here in the early days of Unigov, you know what a big deal this is. It's like the Hotel California, where you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave type of thing. And it appears through an act of the legislature that the town of Cumberland is on the verge of getting itself out of Unigov.
Okay, so Cumberland, they want to become the 5th excluded city under Unigov, similar to Lawrence and Speedway and Beech Grove and Southport. And Unigov started in the 70s in these smaller communities to kind of create one central government organization.
It probably actually made sense at the time, which I think Lugar may have been mayor back then. It made sense at the time where you say, hey, there's all these little pockets, these little communities that quite frankly aren't capable. They're so small, and as the city continues to expand, these little towns are not capable, that sort of surround the outskirts of Indianapolis, really weren't capable 60 years ago or 55 years ago or whatever it's been now, of providing services necessary. And we want the community, the city to grow. So we're going to bring everybody together. I'm saying on paper it made sense, right? As anything with government, it didn't work out the way it necessarily was intended.
The actual execution.
And that's why they exempted the cities that had the ability to stand on their own at the time, right? The Speedway, the Lawrence, et cetera. Well, there are still obviously many of these little towns that are a part of Unigov that have not grown. But the town of Cumberland has grown to the point where it has now crossed county lines into Hancock County. And so literally the town of Cumberland is split amongst counties, with part of it being in Marion County and a much faster growing part being in Hancock County.
So the east side's growing faster than the west side.
So what had happened is the people in Marion County were under different zoning laws than the people of Hancock, the Hancock County side. So think about this. You're the same town, but everybody plays by different rules. And so if you want to do some sort of construction project or put a barn up or whatever, and you're in the Hancock County portion, you can simply skedoodle on over to the Cumberland Town Hall, and they'll probably rubber stamp that and say, hey, Fred, have a nice life. Good luck with your barn. Versus if you're on the other side, the Marion County side, you literally have to come downtown, go to Indianapolis, the downtown, you get the thing approved, different rules, different fees, different regulations. And Cumberland had finally said, look, we have grown. There's been rapid growth on the Hancock County side, not so on the Marion County side, to the point where they said this no longer logistically makes sense. We're capable. We have enough homes and enough business tax space. We can provide our services for ourselves. We can handle the things we can handle. And so with a couple of changes, in terms of the way the taxing is structured. I won't bore you with the details. It appears now the city of Indianapolis is prepared to not fight the relinquish of Cumberland out of Unigov. So it's a very interesting sort of conundrum, and a reminder that when Unigov was created, these were all little bitty places. Many of them remain little bitty places that were there, but some of them are growing very rapidly.
And Cumberland is one of them.
Right, yeah, it's a very interesting story, and it sounds like with some changes they made to the legislation and the way some fire taxing is going to work, the people, by the way, that are on the Marion County side will still be able to vote in the Indy mayor's race, and we'll still have an Indianapolis City County Councilor. I mean, that's how screwed up this thing is.
Yeah.
I've never understood this, how, okay, Lawrence and Speedway are not part of Unigov, but yet they still get to vote for the mayor of Indianapolis, but the mayor of their own city. I've never understood that. Either you won or you're not.
Yeah.
But that's the way it's set up. It's a very, very weird thing. Yeah.
You get both. Nikki Kelly is going to join us next from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle.
Yeah, there's a big push now to raise the cigarette tax, as there is every year. But it seems like, unlike in years past, the legislature with the Medicaid shortfall, et cetera, is more open to this. Nikki had a piece on this in the Capitol Chronicle, and we'll talk about that next.
She's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Life moves fast.
Another new directive from Donald Trump.
President Trump will not be deterred to make our federal government more efficient.
So does the news.
We expect those meetings to take place very soon.
Decisions made today
Kash Patel confirmed as the next director of the FBI.
could impact you tomorrow.
Accountability and transparency.
What's next?
You never know what's going to happen.
Need to know what happened. We're already tracking it. Stay in the know while you're on the go on 93 WIBC.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate, 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
So should the state of Indiana finally raise that cigarette tax? Our next guest says yes. She's got a new piece about just that. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here, joined on the WIBC hotline by Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Nikki Kelly, I thought this piece was very interesting. You say it's time to raise the cigarette tax in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, revenue is lean, and our Medicaid costs are extremely high. It would bring in hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's one reason why. But the other reason why is when you raise the cigarette tax, people stop smoking. So I guess I don't really see the downside. We've been talking about it for years. We have an incredibly low cigarette tax compared to other states and especially nearby states. And so we haven't touched it in more than a decade. So I think lawmakers have been waiting for it saving it for a rainy day, so to speak, and it's kind of raining.
Okay, so I thought this piece was interesting because I go back and forth on this. I agree with you in the sense of, look, we're paying for people's health care. The Medicaid stuff is totally out of control. You've got serious issues funding that. And if people are going to be making unhealthy choices, we as the taxpayer shouldn't be fronting the full load of that.
Yeah, that's definitely my thought. And like I said, I mean, the one negative, I guess, to be honest, is a lot of people point out, should you fund something with money will reduce, right? Because people are going to quit. Like, that's a fact. Statistically, it happens every time. There's always some people on the edge that will not be able to afford the increase. And we're talking about a $1 to $2 increase. So it's not like 50 cents, And so there is that thing about whether you put it toward ongoing. But like I said, our Medicaid, even if they wanted to do a trigger, for instance, say if the federal government reduces our FMAP, which is our matching rate for Medicaid, then this would go into effect. That would be a way to look at it, too.
Yeah, and I think that's really the kicker here is you've got all sorts of calamity basically going on with the Medicaid program. There's a big bill, obviously. There are several bills dealing with that. And you say, well, look, if special needs kids are potentially at risk of losing service who are no fault of their own, man, if you're going to be doing damage to yourself, maybe there's a price to pay for that, and that money can be used to help those people.
Exactly. I think you're not as confused about it as you think, Rob.
Well, okay, so now I'm going to get to the part where I struggle with, right? I gave you the benefit of the doubt first because you're our fabulous guest. I do struggle with the fact that if we want to ban cigarette smoking or say something's illegal, hey, I maybe necessarily wouldn't have a problem with that. I think there's clear indication smoking does immense harm to people. What I do struggle with, though, is like they call them these sin taxes. Either something's legal or it's not. Like drinking is legal or it's not. Gambling is legal or it's not. Smoking is legal or it's not. And the fact that we tax things that are legal differently. You see where I struggle with that? Like if it's legal, it's legal. But if it's not, it's not. So why do we tax things differently based on if I'm doing illegal behavior?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously trying to move the needle. I mean, we're trying to get people to stop but I think it's all about, again, as you pointed out, we're paying for that in our healthcare system, especially on Medicaid. So if we could do anything that will help them stop, then, why not? And I get the syntax argument, but I also feel like we're down that road, like they exist.
Yeah, so what has been because this seems like a sort of, from a lawmaker perspective, I'm not saying from my perspective, but from a lawmaker perspective, like a freebie, because everybody basically hates the smell of smoke and the smoker people. And every year it's like, well, there's a freebie there for you that the public at large may not be that upset about. What has been the resistance to raising the cigarette tax?
Yeah, the House has passed it a couple times. The Senate has been the one that has not taken it up. But Senate President Pro Tem Bray said a few weeks ago that it's definitely part of the conversation this year more than it has been in the past due to how lean the budget numbers are. I mean, I think it's just general, don't want to raise a tax sentiment. I don't think it's anything more than that.
Nikki Kelly, our guest from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. All right, so there's been all sorts of controversy. By the way, you can read Nikki's column on the cigarette tax over at IndianaCapitalChronicle.com. There's been all sorts of controversy now. Are people up in arms about all the money being spent at Braun's house to, upgrade it or whatever, because he said, I'm going to spend a bunch of time there, not the governor's mansion. Tell us what's going on, and do these people have a point about being upset about this?
I mean, I don't, everyone's opinion is their own. I think they're spending about $118,000. Basically, the state police has determined some security upgrades are needed for the time he spends at his Jasper home. So they're adding fencing, an electronic kind of keypad gate. They're adding, interestingly, like a trailer for the security to be in, and with like a bathroom, and they're adding a helipad, though they're kind of acting like the helipad will just be for emergency purposes. Obviously, it's more than 2 hours down to Jasper by car, and so I think they're trying to make sure if he's needed immediately somewhere, there's a way to make that happen. The comments I've seen, he said he's going to split time. Comments I've seen are basically, hey, we fund this really nice governor's residence already. So I'm not sure why the state needs to pick up taxing. I mean, there's people who've been pushing back saying, hey, he called for everyone to stop working from home, but he's going to go back and forth. And then there are people who point out that, he's a multimillionaire, and we're talking about $100,000, and the majority of the items, especially the fencing and the gates, that would be a permanent fixture that he would get to keep, not the trailer, afterwards. So maybe he should have split the cost or something like that, or what I'm hearing.
Well, that's the thing, right? And we love that Braun is telling everybody to cut. We love it, right? But then that's where you get the pushback is, well, wait a second. You're adding a bunch of expenses because you don't want to live full time in the really nice house that we're paying for you.
You said it, not me.
Hey, look, we're equal opportunity offenders here. We give them big applause where they're right, and we raise the questions where they're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think the timing is definitely key. Everyone's talking about cutting. We're seeing programs eliminated. We're seeing, obviously that conversation in the property tax fight and the state budget. And so this just,
It does seem a little bit hypocritical, doesn't it? I'm curious, did other governors live full-time at the governor's mansion, and did they have security done to their permanent residence?
Well, Governor Holcomb definitely lived there. Obviously, they owned a home, I think, the first few years in Marion County. So, I mean, there was no difference. They were from here. Similarly with Governor Daniels, he, again, owned a home in, Hamilton County and Geist, but, they're right there. Governor Pence definitely lived full-time at the residence. I think going way back to Governor O'Bannon would be probably the closest you'd come to it. And he lived in Corydon. His family home, his personal home was in Corydon. And I definitely know that he went there sometimes, but I don't remember if he worked there 5 days a week or, that kind of thing. So that's probably the most recent example of someone not living there full time.
Okay, so we go from, and by the way, Nikki Kelly's our guest from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. We go from where we've got some questions to something we thought was very, very good. Nikki, Casey and I both thought Braun was outstanding. It's one of the best I've ever seen him at that property tax rally. He blew me away at how into it he actually was.
He was very into it, He even did the taking off the jacket and rolling up his sleeves. He made the most of that moment for sure to put pressure on lawmakers.
Abdul and I were talking about this, and obviously he's covered the State House for a long time like you. It's rare where you can't read the tea leaves on where something's going. I have no idea, nor does Abdul, how this thing is going to end now, because Braun is, and rightfully so, and he's getting a lot of support, so dug in on providing the relief, and the lawmakers seem set on, we're not doing that. Do you have any idea how this is going to go?
Well, I think last week we got a good indication when both Speaker Houston and Senate President Pro Tem Bray, in their post-weekly avails with press, they both used very similar phrasing and talked about Governor Braun, that the goal they want is for your 26 taxes to be less than your 25 taxes. And it was a phrase that they both used exactly. And so I think that they have settled on that goal, and that is what we will see, because they were very specific about it.
Well, that's much more daylight than we've seen before. You're ending us on a very optimistic tone today, Nikki Kelly.
Well, I tried.
Find her over at the IndianaCapitalChronicle.com. Nikki Kelly, you're the best. Thank you.
All right. You guys have a good day.
Yeah, you too. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Buildings damaged, trees ripped up, and power lines down. Cloudy right now with some light rain falling in central Indiana. 37 degrees on Monument Circle and 52 is your high today. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:30. That's the scene in places like Vigo and Bartholomew counties after Wednesday night's storm that moved through Indiana. National Weather Service forecaster Matt Eckhoff explains what concerns them.
If you have a debris signature, which can take a few forms, that adds, weight towards what you're seeing. And we had a couple of those at times. So that's why we issued tornado warnings with the radar confirmed tags as well.
Eckhoff says rain and snow are in the forecast today. The number of Americans filing for first-time unemployment benefits is up slightly, but still a bit lower than expected. President Trump says efforts to end the war between Ukraine and Russia are very much on track. And Alex Ovechkin will look to get closer to breaking the NHL's all-time goals scored record this evening. He needs just 8 more to pass Wayne Gretzky's mark of 894 career goals that has stood since 1999. Ovechkin's Washington Capitals host the Philadelphia Flyers at 7 o'clock this evening. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, it's Matt Bear. Warm weather is coming, and now's the time to call Concrete Exteriors to beat the spring rush. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, gutters, and more, my friends at Cochran Exteriors will give you a free consultation with options to meet your budget, and all without the high pressure or gimmicky sales tactics. Over 10,000 satisfied area customers, a lifetime workmanship warranty. It's why Cochran Exteriors is my choice. Visit CochranExteriors.com.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. 317-480-4040. That's 317-480-4040.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Hey, guys, it's Rob for my friends at Save a Tree, the tree, shrub, and lawn experts. And, man, that weather is starting to break, and now is going to be a great time for my friends at Save a Tree to come to my house and make my lawn look great after some tough weather. Yeah, boy, Sean came out a couple weeks ago, gave me some suggestions, and here coming up, I actually scheduled it yesterday, in fact. The guys from Save a Tree are going to be coming out and giving my lawn the care, the TLC it needs to put it in its best position, maybe ever. Calling Save a Tree could be the best home upgrade you've ever made. And see how beautiful your yard can be by setting up your own evaluation at saveatree.com. These guys are great. Saveatree.com, SAVATREE.com, SAVATREE.com. Or dial pound 250 on your smart device and use the keyword Save a Tree. Save a Tree, the tree, shrub, and lawn experts. Tell them Rob sent you.
From a fast break to recovery, Indiana hospitals are here for every Hoosier, regardless of their ability to pay. That's why we're teaming up with legislators on a winning playbook to lower costs and protect access to care across our communities. Because good policy doesn't leave anyone on the sidelines. Learn more at HoosierLifeline.com.
Paid for by the Indiana Hospital Association.
America respects our first responders and veterans, the brave whose business is taking action when calamity strikes. It's dangerous work, often surrounded by sirens, shouting, even gunfire, so hearing loss is probable. First responders can turn to Relay Indiana. If you have trouble hearing on the telephone, visit RelayIndiana.com for voice recognition technology phones that allow the hearing impaired to have normal phone conversations. And there's loaned equipment for those who qualify. Get clarity back on the phone. Visit RelayIndiana.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
If this is the year to build your custom dream home, Joyner Homes is ready to help make your dream come true. They offer the flexibility to build on your own lot, allowing you to build a home in the place you've always envisioned. A dedicated in-house team of experts will guide you through every step, offering unmatched personalization and flexibility. Joyner Homes provides clear and upfront pricing and floor plans to inspire you. There's no time like the present to get in touch with Joyner Homes to talk about your vision and learn more about their building process. Visit JoynerHomes.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show. on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails.
The phone number, if you'd like to get involved, 317-684-8444. It is time for Voicemails with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And, something happened on Monday. People are still talking about it.
Oh.
Rob. Big rally. You were there.
That's right. I was there.
Yeah. Property tax rally at the State House. And our first phone call is about that.
I was down there to rally with you guys. It was a great time. Enjoyed it. And Rob, good meeting you and Casey. I'm glad to seeing the governor. And if we have to do it again, Rob, I'll be with you again if we have to do it again. And I talked to several people down there, and they said they would be willing to come back again if we have to come again. We got to get these crooks out of the State House. And thank you and WIBC and Hammer for help putting this on. Thank you. Thank the WIBC people that own them. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You up for another one?
Oh, sure, right? It's interesting. I think I said this yesterday. Later today, I'm going to do an interview on a pretty cool little piece about the rally and the influence this show has had and how it's sort of helping drive, in this case, public policy, which really, like guys like Guy Relford have driven public policy, obviously with constitutional carry and things of that nature. And the radio show is part of that. But I think people kind of think of Guy Relford as, hey, he's an attorney, right? Like that's his day job, and he's a 2A advocate and an instructor. And so in terms of an actual like radio show on a daily basis driving public policy, that hasn't happened in a very long time. And I think people are interested in that. And this is what I tell people is we're the face, but there's this movement behind us, which is why the show is powerful. The show's power is in the people itself. If nobody listened, they wouldn't care about us, right? They would ignore us. They don't like us because of they being the legislature, don't like us because they know what's behind us. The giant windstorm that pushes, and that's you, our fabulous audience, pushes the show forward each day. I've always laughed at this. Like, let's just say, and Dion said I'm doing very well, but let's just say they fired me tomorrow. You think those people wouldn't exist anymore?
They'd carry on, except nobody would be holding them accountable.
Well, but they would still be there. And we are the face of the movement. And it's really you, the audience, that deserves all the credit for pushing the governor in the way that he has been pushed to make this his signature issue and be as passionate and be as good on it as he had. It's rare. I don't take credit for things, Casey, but in all kidding aside, it is you. And as long as you stay engaged, we're going to hopefully be here. And this thing will continue to drive forward. And the governor, to his credit, has been very responsive, but not because he is trying to impress us or fears us or is worried about us. He's being responsive to you. To you. Yeah, absolutely. So just keep, like we said, keep going at that rally. Keep going. There's still a lot of time left in the ball game.
You can still call and email and tag all your representatives.
Now, we are definitely doing the video tomorrow, right?
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Okay. We had to get the cryon. So you don't know, the cryon is the thing like the newscaster reads on the newscast.
You're talking about the prompter.
The prompter.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I say? Cryon's the thing at the bottom, isn't it?
No, the cryon's the green screen they use with the weather.
Why didn't you correct me on that? I've been doing this in that text.
And every time you say it, I say prompter.
Do you?
Yes.
Wasn't even paying attention.
Speaking of the 4-point plan.
So real quick, the prompter, that's what it's called. It's not called the cryon's the thing behind you?
Teleprompter.
Yeah, see, I'm not a TV person.
Yeah.
So we had to get the prompter.
Yeah.
Is that the official term?
Yeah, the teleprompter.
Are you now satisfied? You thoroughly allowed me to humiliate myself in front of all these people?
It wasn't in public. You weren't doing that.
The prompter had to be, we have a TV studio here. We didn't even
I had
know
no
about.
idea.
Yeah. And so we had to get all that set up.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
And so we will have that tomorrow. So we're going to tape it.
Secret bathrooms. There's TV studios. What else is here?
Are you going to spend the weekend working on this? Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
That's how excited. Okay, so we'll have anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well, because Nick, our digital guy, he said, it'd be really good if we could put out the video Monday or Tuesday after the weekend news cycle.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
And I agree with him.
Yeah,
on
so
that.
maybe Monday
Because
or...
we don't want to put it on Friday with the Friday dump. It'll get lost.
You need time to work on it.
Well, that too.
But like I said, I had to have something
clean you up as best I can.
I wrote it. I might as well read it.
Mm-hmm. This is true. We'll get you on camera tomorrow. But it's all about your 4-point plan.
That's correct.
And speaking of that, here's a phone call.
Local dump truck driver here. I just heard Rob's 4-point plan for cutting property tax. I think it's genius. Just have one question. Can I buy you a shot, some Ambien, some NyQuil, something to put you back to sleep so you can have more of these dreams, please? Love you guys.
You liked it.
If you have not been listening the last couple of days, after the property tax rally, had awakened from a dream, and I had this fabulous 4-point plan to solve the property tax issue, which I think addresses everybody's concerns. And I thought, well, I wonder whose plan this was. And then I determined it was my plan, and it really is an insight into how just never-ending this fertile mind actually is. And the 4 steps that we came up with, which I think are great, is number 1, we're going to freeze assessments. So you're going to basically know what your bill's going to be for the next 3 years. Then the schools, it solves their little issue, which is, we're losing so much on bronze reset. That's step 1. Step 2 is that in 3 years, we will be all Indiana property tax laws will expire. So there will be no more property taxes after 3 years. We're done. You're out of it. Checks the box of getting us out of property taxes. And it puts a clock on these lawmakers to, you better figure it out, or in 3 years, if you don't have an answer, then there's no money for local governments. So you out of here. And then 3 would be a commission will be formed between the governor, the Senate, the House, getting appointments to present within 1 year a recommendation to the governor and the General Assembly of the plan, of which will be debated and discussed over 2 years. And then the third or fourth rather part of the plan would be that we will find, call it Doge, you can call it bananas, whatever you want to call it. The governor will appoint a person committee to find $2 billion in savings in the state budget, which will be returned to the taxpayer in the form of a rebate. We did the math. 4.3 million people got the rebate in 2023, which that comes out to about $465 a person. And the kicker on this, they have to find the money, because if they don't, the money within a certain date will automatically come out of public education, the money that goes to public education. So they'll find the money.
Right, they'll get really busy on finding
And there's your plan. So you get...
And that's equivalent to the rate reset.
You check all the boxes. The schools can't say they're losing any money anymore. The local governments will be out of property taxes. We'll have a plan. There's a date it stops, and you get money back. Everybody's happy.
Everybody wins. So you're going to put that in video form,
That's
and
right.
we'll push that out and make sure everybody's aware of it.
That's great.
One more phone call before Hammer's going to join us, and this phone call actually kind of right up his rally. It's about his rally, right up his alley.
Yes.
It's about basketball.
Hey, Kendall. Hey, Casey. Love the show. Listen every day. As far as the brackets go, I fill out my brackets by cities I'd rather visit, and I've never won a damn thing. So there you have it.
I always choose my cities based on some sort of connection. I've lived there or spent money on an education at that school or something along those lines. Hammer's going to join us next. It is 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it this afternoon, 3:06. We've got Hammer and Nigel Records Madness, Rob Kendall, Off the Rails, 93 WIBC.
My brother never checks on dad, or my sister won't make time to take mom to the doctor. Are these things you've heard yourself say? This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I have a caregiving tip for you. Stay tuned.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Expressing anger or resentment toward unsupportive siblings can cause unmendable rifts in relationships. Don't try to control everyone else. You can only control yourself. The success of your caregiving journey does not rest on others. So enjoy the time with your loved one. This is your special time with them. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Hi, I'm Charlie Comer from Comer & Cross Premium Garage Floor Coatings. When your garage floor has stains, cracks, and pits, it makes your whole garage look bad. And a bad epoxy job looks even worse. Look, spring will be here on March 20th. For your best price of the year on your new garage floor, basement, or patio, and installation this spring, please call me now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Guaranteed, a Comer & Cross concrete floor coating won't chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. In one day, we make it so easy. We move your stuff out for you. We fix the cracks and pits perfectly. And apply your gleaming new Comer & Cross concrete floor in 6 stages, just in time for spring. For your best price of the year on your new garage floor, basement, or patio, and installation by spring, please call me now at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to COMERcross.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-518-9137. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. That's 800-883-3024.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls?
I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
That's when spoke was spoke.
From the number one rated Hammer and Nigel show, Jason Hammer in the studio. Good morning.
For the longest time, I thought the lyrics were, that was when a smoke was a smoke. Like, because the way Mellencamp says that, smoke, like, it sounds like smoke.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I thought that's when a smoke was a smoke.
Yeah,
like,
unfiltered.
Right. He was
Hand-rolled.
Going hard in the paint with those Camels and Marlboro unfiltereds. Hey, happy March Madness Day for those who celebrate. Get those brackets in.
You do realize that's the actual lyrics, right? But he's not talking about smoking.
I thought that's when a sport was a sport.
No, that's when a smoke was a smoke.
No, it's sport.
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
No, that's when a smoke was a smoke.
What lyrics site are you looking at?
I know the song.
Lyrics.com.
Look it up. Look it up.
Lyricsdepot.com has it.
Because some of these lyrics sites are like full of crap too.
They're wrong.
Right.
Should we put it through AI?
There's another one. Songlyrics.com. That's when a smoke was a smoke.
Okay, then I was right.
You were
Somebody
right.
told me that it was sport.
And groovin' was groovin'.
Well, I knew groovin'.
It goes but it all goes together.
I'm saying sport, actually.
No,
thank you, Kevin.
See?
Thank you.
It's everyone.
It was the first thing that popped up.
I'm looking at most. Let's see here. Let's see what song facts. Top 2 for 2 that say smoke was a smoke.
But Kevin's 1 for 1 that says sport.
Well, who are you going to trust? It's like joke.
Kevin?
It's
not even close.
This is on AZ Lyrics.
Oh, AZ Lyrics.
Pretty reputable.
Oh, like the one you
Classic.
have is some reputable source over here. Like Rob thinks his site that he's found right away is the New York Times of lyrics.
AC Lyrics has been around for a long time. Yeah.
Look, I don't know, is there a liner sheet or something?
Kevin, get Mellencamp on the phone. Like,
yeah, he's so pleasant.
Call up Johnny Cougar right now and tell him that WIBC wants to talk to him.
I'll dial it in.
Yeah.
He did I know we were supposed to talk March Madness stuff here, but great moments in Mellencamp history. Back when I worked at ZPL in the city, we had Mellencamp do one of our Christmas shows, like Jingle Jam.
Yeah.
And he was just supposed to do that little hit medley at the end. He was like, the grand finale, like 5 songs. It wasn't like a full show, right? And he agreed to that. It was fine. It was great. So we brought him in studio to promote it one day. And we said, hey, no politics, no smoking. That's all we ask. We're a pop
That's
station,
where he drew the line.
He came in there smoking heater after heater. And
That's when a smoke was a smoke.
was talking about, oh God, who was it? Like John Kerry or something. Like my boss Pig Vomit at the time. I was just like, the one thing we had in common, we were just kind of like rolling our eyes at this, like, oh God. Come on.
I think you're right, Cameron. It is now multiple sites are saying when sport was a sport. Well, I got it wrong all those years too. I thought it was smoke was a smoke too.
Okay, now you owe me an apology because you were Johnny Tough Guy just a second ago.
I'm just telling you what it said. I was telling you were right. Now you're mad that I'm telling you you're right.
No, you're telling me I'm right now.
Admit the mistake.
Right.
I'm sorry for telling you you were
We
right.
wouldn't have even wasted all this time if you hadn't been like, it is a smoke. It is a smoke.
All these other sites were saying it was a smoke. I was trying to tell you you were right.
Take corrective action from now on when you sing the song. Get the lyrics right.
Right.
Well, that's the worst pronunciation of sport I've ever heard.
Well, I mean, music does that, right? Like, nobody thinks it's wrapped up like a deuce. Nobody thinks that in the song. It's wrapped up like a douche. That's what it sounds like in the song.
The original one is wrapped up like a deuce. 2-seater hot rod. It's a Bruce Springsteen song. They changed the lyrics.
But what
the
I'm
actual
saying
lyrics
is,
are deuce.
Settle down, little Rob. What I'm trying to say is it sounds different than what the lyrics actually are. But see, you're so over the top because you were wrong earlier and you can't handle it when you're wrong. Like, I'm not your wife. I will tell you to go outside and kick rocks and kick the hell out of you.
Dwight Yoakam has one of those where he says echoes in my head, and it sounds like he's saying pickles in my head.
Well, then you can go to the Dwight Yoakam concert with that guy who called yesterday.
Right.
Remember She's Like the Wind from Patrick Swayze? For the longest time, I thought it was I Feel Her Breasts in My Face.
Hold me close now, tiny dancer.
Right.
Tony
Tell me
Danza.
about this bracket, what we're doing here?
So on the Degenerates Next Door podcast, Rob and I have made out our picks. We've picked our bracket winners. We've got a Final Four. Here's our bet. Whichever one of us does better in our bracket, like round 1's worth 1, round 2's worth 2, so on and so on. Whoever gets the most points in our bracket, right? The loser has to put out a tweet to the politician of the other one's choosing.
Oh, boy.
And they have to say what we want.
Oh, I love this.
So, like, in theory, if Rob beats me, I would have to tweet at Mayor Joe. You've actually done a fantastic job in this city, and I'm sorry about calling you a raging alcoholic. At Destiny Wells. I really feel like you should have won some of those, and had I been a single man, I'd massage your thighs.
Oh, this is a good bet.
Yes.
I love this.
So let's go.
Yes. Nice. What's coming up today?
What is today? Thursday? Oh, Rob's going to come in. We're going to see how many more things Rob can be wrong about, and we're going to make him uncomfortable.
All right. Thanks, Hammer.
I'm just going to sit here and be quiet from now on. I'm not even going to try to help you anymore.
Ratings will get better.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
JV here for Sundown Gardens and Miss M's Home and Garden Nursery. Stock is arriving daily, and both locations are filling up. Come shop early and save 20% off all container trees and shrubs in stock now at both Sundown Gardens in Westfield and Miss M's Home and Garden in Bargersville. Their gift shops are full of spring color, too. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. Miss M's Home and Garden on State Road 135, just south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville. Stop in and see them this week.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Life is busy enough without plumbing problems. That's why you need an expert to fix it right the first time. Plumbing may not be pretty, but we're pretty darn good at it. And we'll always give you honest advice at a fair price. That's the LD Smith Plumbing Promise. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, where storm damage hit across Indiana Wednesday night and what some people witnessed. A debate over transgender women in college sports. You'll hear what was said in a committee hearing at the State House this week. And an issue with stop signs on buses. Those stories and more after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
School's out. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump's going ahead with plans to give the education department's responsibilities over to states, parents, and other federal agencies.
An executive order President Trump is signing at a ceremony this afternoon directs the education secretary to take all necessary steps to facilitate closing the Department of Education and return education authority to the states. A fact sheet provided by the White House says the order will ensure effective and uninterrupted delivery of services, programs, and benefits Americans rely on. The Department of Education operates the federal student loan program and funding for low-income school districts. Fully closing or eliminating the department would likely require congressional approval, and lawmakers just approved education department funding in the bill preventing a government shutdown. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Most Americans say they see the need for federal spending cuts. 2/3 say they're concerned not enough thought is going into it. But the new Fox News polls show President Trump's job approval rating matching his all-time high, 49%. Congressional Republicans hit their all-time high this month with 43% job approval. Democrats get 30%, near their all-time low in November 2013. An American tourist abducted in Afghanistan more than 2 years ago is released by the Taliban in a deal with the Trump administration. George Glesman is an airline mechanic from Atlanta on his way back to the United States. Thousands of people in Turkey joined growing protests over the detention of Istanbul's mayor, seen as President Tayyip Erdogan's main political rival.
Turkish authorities have detained 37 people for sharing what they call provocative content online. It follows the arrest of Istanbul's mayor as part of investigations into alleged corruption and terror. Ekrem İmamoğlu and his supporters see the arrest as politically motivated. The Turkish financial market temporarily halted trading to prevent panic selling.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What they witnessed had them a little spooked. Light rain on radar in central Indiana, also cloudy and 38 degrees in the Circle City, but it feels like 22. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A storm left behind roof damage, broken fences, and a smashed garage door at the Logansport Cass County Airport. Ryan Hedrick with more.
Leaders with emergency management services say they're just happy nobody was injured or killed.
So when the garage door was blown in, it landed on the aircraft, so very minor damage.
EMA Director Rocky Buffum says at the time of the storm, there were no watches or warnings.
We did have an EMA unit captured a funnel cloud in that area just before everything went rain wrap.
And he says they've sent photos of that damage to the National Weather Service. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Storm damage also reported in places like Vigo County, Bartholomew County, and Johnson County, among others. Gas prices have been going up all week long. Gas Buddy says the statewide average is now $3.15 a gallon, which is up 21 cents from this time last week. Testimony heard Wednesday on a bill that would ban transgender women from playing in women's college sports. Ellie Patterson, who's a college volleyball player at IU-Indy, said she's in favor of it.
HB 1041 needs to be passed to protect bodily privacy, competitive fairness, and ensure women's safety.
And she used to play volleyball at San Jose State and found out that one of her teammates there was transgender, which she says took away a scholarship from someone else. Those who are against this bill say it makes transgender kids feel less safe. The John Bonner Neighborhood Centers say that swing-out stop signs for buses are conditional. Jake McDaniel explains why officers say buses need to have them.
That's because it's required by state law. State police are looking into the JNBC because they don't have stop signs like normal school buses. Last week, someone told officers that the JNBC was loading and unloading kids in the road without using a swing-out stop sign. JNBC Community Development Officer Melissa Benton.
We contacted our legal counsel. She has subsequently met with state police legal counsel again, and they've reviewed the state law, and they agree that her interpretation of the state law is accurate.
She tells Wish TV that they did nothing wrong.
That's what we believe.
Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The NCAA men's basketball tournament has 16 games on the slate today. One of those is Purdue facing High Point at 12:40. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 11:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You're going to feel really bad here in a minute when what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Because
Thanks for the warning.
You and Hammer were ridiculous to me last segment.
I think that was mostly Hammer.
Well, you were in on it with him. At no point did you stand up for me. And so you're at a, it's
You're
like
a big boy.
when somebody commits a crime, if you're an accomplice to the crime, even if you didn't pull the trigger, you were
I'm going down.
You were driving the getaway car.
Okay. What do you have?
And so if you missed last segment, I was trying to help Hammer, but this is why I don't try to help anyone anymore, because it gets me nothing but grief.
Yeah.
Was talking about the song Cherry Bomb by John Mellencamp.
Yeah.
And he goes, for years I thought the lyrics was "That's when a smoke was a smoke." And I said, I think those are the lyrics. And I looked up online, multiple sites said yes. Then Kevin looked it up on some website and said sport. And then Wikipedia said sport. And then Hammer was completely over the top and ridiculous, like yelling at me for trying to help him, saying, no, I think you're right, man. But now some guy on Twitter sent me a link to Mellencamp's official YouTube channel. I've retweeted it now at Rob M. Kendall if you'd like to see it. And it's the closed caption says, when a smoke was a smoke.
The one I'm looking at says it's sport was a sport. That's when was a sport.
I'm not disputing what you're saying, but I'm showing photographic evidence.
You know what we need? You know who can settle this besides John Mellencamp? If anybody owns the album with the lyrics on the inside. Yeah.
But think about this. It's not like it's something where he says spoke. It's not smoke and sport. Don't sound anything alike.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just screwing with everybody. Maybe there's a little Easter egg that he put in there. And it's like, I'm going to say smoke.
Just to stir up controversy.
And then I'm going to tell people. We got to get you know who would know?
Your friend.
Troy
you know
Kennett
somebody.
I will text Troy when we get off the air here, because he is Mellencamp's keyboard player.
Right.
And I'm sure he has played Cherry Bomb an infinite amount of times, whether it is sport or it is smoke. And then I will let everybody know if I hear back from him.
What is the correct answer? We have to know. These musical artists, they can make words sound however
but
they
how do
need
you
them
get,
to sound.
It's so bad that even his own closed captioning or the closed captioning on his video feed appears to say smoke.
Smoke. Maybe
and
that's
I've got that
what it is.
retweeted for the public at large to see.
And everyone else is wrong with sport.
Well, no, there's several websites saying it's smoke.
50-50.
I'm not disputing that it may be sport, but that is nothing like sport. And if it is sport, then he did that.
Well, are these the closed captions that are generated by YouTube? Or
That's
is
what I'm
this
saying.
actually... Well, those aren't really the most accurate a lot of times.
But even they're unable to decide. It's artificial intelligence. I thought it knew everything.
Not quite yet.
Kevin, stay out of this. This is not your fight.
You don't want this smoke, Kevin. Or this sport.
You've got enough backlash, so I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, just stay out of this, Kevin. All right, what do we...
Well, we were going to talk about Donald Trump talking with Zelensky.
Somebody, this is the best comment ever. Somebody in the YouTube chat just put, my God, it's smoke.
We're driving someone crazy. Stop the madness.
I'll text Troy. We'll find, what are we doing? What's going on? What's happening?
President Trump, Zelensky, they had a conversation. They agreed to move forward with a partial ceasefire. The thing with this is it's Zelensky, so you never know. A day later, he could change his mind.
So Trump and Zelensky have now an agreement on the ceasefire. What about Putin?
Well, that's it exactly. You're going to throw in this third party in there because you kind of need him to agree to it as well.
Right. It takes three. There's three people involved in this discussion. We have an agreement from two of them. What about the third guy?
So, allegedly, the ceasefire focuses on reducing strikes on energy infrastructure. And the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, she had a statement yesterday, and it came from the National Security Advisor and Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. And here's what she had to say. It's number 2, Kevin.
Today, President Trump and Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky had a fantastic phone conversation. President Zelensky thanked President Trump for a productive start for the work of the Ukrainian and American teams in Jeddah on March 11th. The meeting of the senior officials from both nations significantly helped in moving toward ending the war. President Zelensky thanked President Trump for the support of the United States, especially the Javelin missiles that President Trump was first to provide in his efforts towards peace. The leaders agreed Ukraine and America will continue working together to bring about a real end to the war, and that lasting peace under President Trump's leadership can be achieved. President Trump fully briefed President Zelensky on his conversation with Putin and the key issues discussed. They reviewed the situation in Kursk and agreed to share information closely between their defense staffs as the battlefield situation evolved. President Zelensky asked for additional air defense systems to protect his civilians, particularly Patriot missile systems, and President Trump agreed to work with him to find what was available, particularly in Europe.
So that last part was interesting.
We're agreeing to a ceasefire, but we need more weapons.
Yeah, that was interesting, right? And then I love that Trump was like, "Yeah, we'll see what Europe has available." Yeah, I'm done with you, little man, and I can say that because I'm short.
So there's a couple things though. Trump had said while he was campaigning, 24 hours, this would be done.
Yeah, we're way past 24 hours.
So we missed that mark.
Well, okay, but
he is the only person who seems like he's trying to at least make it happen.
Some of the Trump stuff, it's like going to a pro wrestling match. You know, a bunch of it's part of the show, right? Nobody in their right mind believed within 24 hours this thing was going to be solved, but there at least appears to be some forward movement. Now, the problem Trump has is he's kind of boxed himself in going at Zelensky. What if Putin rejects all of these terms? What is Trump going to do? And that's sort of the unanswered question. If Trump and Zelensky come up with an agreement and then Putin says, "Nah, I'm not doing that," then what does Trump do?
Yeah.
Does he pivot back to just unlimited funding for Ukraine? What's the answer? And that's what I don't know. I don't have any idea on.
So another thing that Donald Trump has said is that he wants to dismantle the Department of Education, and he apparently is putting something out today to dismantle that.
Well, okay, so let's clarify a whole bunch of things. Number one, he cannot end the Department of Education. It was created by statute by the Congress. It can only be dissolved by statute of the Congress. What he can do, though, is he can, to the point judges will allow him to, he can bleed it dry financially. He can, and that's what it'll do. When you talk about dismantling the Department of Education, if the money goes away, everything else goes away with it. That's why he brought Linda McMahon in. Linda McMahon, while she has an education degree, is a business person, and she knows about building and breaking businesses, and that is why she is being brought in to help facilitate Trump trying to financially and through regulatory measures dismantle the Department of Education, which is awesome, because as we talked about, we did that a week or so ago. We came up with we read the list of the things they're supposed to do, and it's like, what could another existing agency of government not do that the Department of Education doesn't? Quite frankly, we found nothing. There's nothing they do.
So it's interesting because Thomas Massie reintroduced a bill to abolish the department by December 31st, 2026. And this is the same guy that Donald Trump had real issues with just a week ago.
Right.
So on some things, they're on the same team. On others, they're not. And as you mentioned, it does take a supermajority in the Senate to dismantle this Department of Education. So they're going to have to get some Democrats on their side.
Right. I mean, look, you're not. And look, the Republicans, but was it Politico or The Hill? I think The Hill had an article about a bunch of these Senate Republicans aren't even on board with codifying the DOGE cuts in the upcoming budget. You're realistically, when you've got people like McConnell and Spendingberg and Murkowski and Collins, I mean, you've got 5 or 6 just complete weasels in there. You've only probably got 40-ish or so people who are even on board with cutting spending or cutting government. And how are you going to do it? You're never going to get this thing dissolved. So he's just got to try to do whatever he can do to get these things to come to lessen its authority, lessen the weight that comes with the Department of Education, and most importantly, lessen the financial strings that come with the Department of Education.
Speaking of education, some new data has been put out, and it says that it is white women with college degrees who are the biggest supporters of the Democrat Party. Listen to this clip.
White women with at least a college degree, the only group of white voters that really kind of is on the left politically, aligned with progressive causes, democratic politics. Give you an example here. It's that DEI question, right here, that we asked about in our poll. We had two big statements we read to voters. Basically, do you want to continue DEI programs, or do you think they should be ended? And again, look at this divide here. White men, no degree, end it. White men with a degree, end it, they say. White women, no degree, end it, they say, by double digits. And then white women with a college degree, completely different by a nearly 40-point margin, they say, to continue DEI.
Okay, so you saw right there in statistical polling data about the indoctrination factory and who is still gullible to and most likely to fall victim to the indoctrination factory. Look, we saw it on full display right in front of us at our rally. Those people assume, I believe they were teachers, right? That's what they were presented as. Assume they have college degrees, white women. There it is. Boom. Had a conversation out in the hall during our most recent commercial break with somebody who works here, and they were lamenting the frustration of how people fall for this stuff like the Mooresville superintendent saying, I'm going to shut the lights out if Braun gets his property tax reset. And he said, how do I convince these people who are willing to fall for this? And I said, look, you got to think of it almost like trying to get somebody to go to church. You're not going to walk up to them and bark at them and say, you come to church, you evil sinner. You got to plant the seed. I said, you got to accept you're not going to change everybody in a day. Some people it's going to take years or decades or whatever, but you just got to give them information, plant little seeds, move on down the road, and hope that sprouts into something productive, which is how you oftentimes the best way to try to address faith and going to church with people is just to say, hey, look, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And then leave them with that and let them go on their merry. There's nothing you're going to do to change the mind of that woman who got arrested at our rally.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
She's dug in.
You can't try to have a logical conversation with somebody like that. You got to find the people that are gettable. And clearly the indoctrination factory is melting the minds of white women.
White women with college degrees.
That's right. That's correct.
There's another chart out, and I'm just going to quickly show you how polar opposite these are. It goes from white men, no degree, white men with a degree, to white women, no degree, to white women with a degree. So from one to the other. And they have different topics like Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, Doge, DEI, Zelensky, Democrat Party. And the numbers swing from a positive view of Donald Trump at 41 to a negative view of Donald Trump, negative 38. And these are two polar opposites, politically and culturally, universes that are having to live together.
Yeah.
They couldn't be farther apart.
Oh, we got to get you a break, but real quick, Loretta in the YouTube chat says, he's my distant cousin. It's definitely smoke. Why would she lie?
We have a relative.
Yeah.
Are we talking third cousin?
I don't know.
Cousin?
I don't know, Kev, but why would this person lie? It seems very credible. I'm going to text Troy when we go to the break here and find out what it is.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
Trump's expected to sign an executive order today directing Education Secretary Linda McMahon to break up her department.
Hear the news.
Congress will need to sign off on abolishing the Department of Education.
As events happen.
Possible tornado damage.
Trees, power outages, power lines down.
We'll happen to be there.
Likely to be confirmed tornado.
On the level.
IU hired a new basketball coach. Darian DeVries
took a 9-win team and took that to a 19.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse is now open. The same exceptional pricing, but with expanded selection. The Farmhouse. Built in 1888, the Farmhouse is now your place to find or create that special piece of jewelry. Gold, diamonds, gemstones, the watches. Oh, what a collection. All there at PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse. Now open. Check it out for yourself on Green Street. PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse. Online at pajewelers.jewelry. That's pajewelers.jewelry.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
From a fast break to recovery, Indiana hospitals are here for every Hoosier, regardless of their ability to pay. That's why we're teaming up with legislators on a winning playbook to lower costs and protect access to care across our communities. Because good policy doesn't leave anyone on the sidelines. Learn more at HoosierLifeline.com.
Paid for by the Indiana Hospital Association.
I don't know if a sport was a sport or a smoke was a smoke, but one thing I do know is Life Church is awesome, and they've had a great impact on my life and my family's life. And one of the things they do at Life Church, they are a community. And when you're there, you're a part of a community. They love you. They care about you. And many WIBC listeners over the years have found a home at Life Church. You can see everything for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain. If you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home or just something different. 4 campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. Great online services. Learn more about everything on the web, lifechurchin.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters.
Thanks. I gotta warn you, I drive a hard bargain.
Okay.
So let's hear your first offer.
Well, how about, with any 4-tire purchase, we'll give you a free alignment.
Man, I'm good. All right, let's do it before you change your mind.
And we'll also give you a free oil change.
Ha! I can't believe I talked you into this deal. Sometimes I amaze even myself. Don't tell accounting. But with any 4-tire purchase at Tire Discounters, you get a free alignment and a free full synthetic oil change. See store for details.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
That's when sport was sport.
Okay, we have a new one. A new person has entered the chat with this.
It's not smoke or sport?
It's spoke.
Spoke?
That was a spoke was a spoke. This is all over the map. I've never seen this before. People are tweeting at us. All the websites, the AI things are saying it's smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lyrics, the actual lyrics, they'll say sport on the album.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they do.
But what if it's a misprint online? It could be a misprint on the album too, right?
It's not a misprint on the
How
album.
do you know?
Is
You
it
think
gonna be...
Mellencamp is sitting there reviewing?
Yes,
No
I
way.
do. Yes,
No
I
way.
do.
No way.
I think that they made sure that it was
Play
all...
it, Kev. Can you play it again? Can you play just that part again? Let me know when you're ready, because I don't see how anybody could get sport. Are you ready? All right, here we go. I think smoke.
I think it's
sport.
It's more likely
I
spoke
get your
than
spoke now.
Spoke than sport. I've changed. I'm off smoke. I'm on to spoke.
You're not.
That is. Can you do that one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, one more time. Tell me you don't hear spoke.
That's when spoke was spoke.
Spoke.
Spoke.
Oh, what is it?
But
what,
none of the
what
AI
does that even mean?
But Spoke's on a bicycle,
The wagon
right?
wheel, the West. Like he's referring. Somebody pointed this out on your Twitter.
Spoke was the spoke.
Like the wagon wheel, the West, the old times.
Yeah, and groovin' was groovy.
Yeah.
Oh no! Now we got 3 words. Did you text? Did
I
you text
did.
the keyboardist?
I texted Troy. Now he is an acclaimed musician, so he may be out of town. He may be touring with someone else right now. He may be recording something. But as soon as he texts me back, I will. Troy is John's keyboard player. Very, very fabulous local musician. One of the great treasures of Central Indiana. The great Troy Kennett.
Which would make more sense? In the song.
Well,
because it's a song about nostalgia, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. All right. So sport was a sport. Okay. So I lived in the outskirts of town in an 8-room farmhouse, baby, when my brothers and friends were around, there was always something doing.
Mm-hmm.
Had me a couple of real nice girlfriends, stopped by to see me every once in a while. When I think back about those days, all I can do is sit and smile. That's when now we've
spoke was a spoke.
Spoke was a spoke, sport was a sport, or smoke was a smoke. And groovin' was groovin', and dancing meant everything. We were young and we were improving.
It's not really helping us, is it?
Well, if he grew up in a farmhouse, I could see there being a wagon.
A spoke. A wagon wheel.
Right. All right. Here.
All
right. Regardless. I've always said this, and we've had this conversation because you're a little older than me, so you played music on the radio for many, many years. And I've always said, well, I didn't think Mellencamp was like a tippy-top songwriter. Like, I never thought his songs were from a just writer's perspective. And Kevin and I had this conversation one time. Mellencamp has this incredible ability in his songs to have like just a couple of lines that you're like, that is spellbindingly good, and I wish the rest of the song were that good. And so like in this song, there are a couple of those lines where he just says things like 17 has turned 35. I'm surprised that we're still loving. If we've done any wrong, I hope that we're forgiven. I mean, it's just I just think Mellencamp is just such an enigma because I don't think his songwriting is all that deep, but I think there's like these little lines. What is the one they said? Boy, you're going to be president, just like everything else. Those old crazy dreams just kind of came and went. Like, it's just these lines in these songs that are so great. But now I got to know.
Yeah, now you got to know.
And so does everybody else in Central. This is the power of the show. This will be the conversation at water coolers at work and around dinner tables.
What is it about?
Yeah.
What is the word?
Okay. Here's a great point.
Yeah.
His cousin, distant cousin, whatever she is, Loretta, says he's a smoker, chain smoker.
Right.
The smoke makes sense.
No, he was.
He was.
He was when he was writing that song. So much so. So Jack Reichert is a former disc jockey in Northern Indiana. He just retired a couple weeks ago. And he used to play in kind of a pickup band with Mellencamp when they were in college. And he just thought, oh, this is a guy, he just plays guitar and he smokes a lot. And one day Jack was on the radio and picked up this new album and saw the picture of John Mellencamp and looked at the album cover and said, why is John Mellencamp on this album cover? And why does it say John Cougar on there? That's weird. He must be modeling or doing something now. Didn't realize that it was actually John Mellencamp who was writing and creating the music.
Yeah. So anyway, we've done our part for today. We have started the conversation.
We haven't figured out
We ask the questions. We don't always provide the answers, Case. Sometimes it's just asking.
We need someone
question.
else to provide the answer.
But I got a guy who will know.
You got a guy.
But I don't know where he's at. I don't know when I'll hear back from him. But as soon as I do, I will
Eventually.
let everybody know.
One day.
The guy who, I don't know, 20 times a tour. Cherry Bomb's got to be a part of the set list, right?
Yeah, you'd think.
You ever seen Mellencamp in concert before?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
You did see Mellencamp in concert.
I did see him.
It didn't go.
No, the concert was fine. He was very quick with the meet and greet.
That's right. The concert was fine. It was the meeting him that didn't go well.
Yeah, he was not.
And you're definitely his type. I'm surprised.
He was not.
You are a dead ringer for Meg Ryan.
You think so?
Totally.
Oh, thank you. It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
There was storm damage. Now they're assessing it. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:30.
There's pretty common reports of trees, power outages, power lines down, things like that.
That's Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis. He says the Weather Service has surveyors all over Indiana trying to get a sense of how bad the damage is and how many tornadoes touched down Wednesday night. That storm system that hit the Hoosier State is now getting into the eastern part of the United States. Forecasters predict very windy conditions from Atlanta up to Washington, D.C. and New York City. The Boston Celtics are being sold to a new owner in a record-setting deal. Symphony Technology Group managing partner Bill Chisholm has agreed to purchase the NBA franchise for a little more than $6 billion. It's the largest sale of a North American sports franchise ever. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I'll say this. There are no entries in the Hoops Fan Hall of Fame who didn't show up to the game. Yes, you in the back.
Professor, March Madness is coming to Indianapolis. Are we ready?
You prepared to bring the fire? Give it 110 from tip to the final buzzer? Oh, you're ready. The NCAA Sweet 16 and Elite 8, March 28th and 30th in Indianapolis. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVB tickets. Class dismissed.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text TIP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text TIP to 321-321. That's TIP to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-268-4420. 800-268-4420. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-268-4420.
All right, we have an answer. Is it smoke, spoke, or sport? But before that, listen up, because something more important to tell you. It's the tax time sale right now with Universal Windows Direct. For every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free, no limit. Plus, here's something that'll make your wallet even happier. Pay no interest until 2030. That's right, no interest for your windows for the next 6 years, making it easier than ever to afford the quality windows your home needs. Oh, but wait, double but wait, there's more. This month only, Universal Windows Direct is giving you an extra $500 off your home improvement project. So let's recap. Tax time sale. Buy 2, get 2 free. No interest until 2030. $500 off your home improvement project. Now, to get all the details, some restrictions may apply, and schedule your free in-home estimate. Call Universal Windows Direct today. 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. See it all on the web. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
My brother never checks on dad. Or, my sister won't make time to take mom to the doctor. Are these things you've heard yourself say? This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I have a caregiving tip for you. Stay tuned.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Expressing anger or resentment toward unsupportive siblings can cause unmendable rifts in relationships. Don't try to control everyone else. You can only control yourself. The success of your caregiving journey does not rest on others. So enjoy the time with your loved one. This is your special time with them. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
The Attorney General's office wants to put your money back in your pocket. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov and search for yourself, your loved ones, or your business. It's fast, easy, and free.
That's when sport was sport.
We have an answer. Sometimes I even impress myself with how many powerful people I know.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so
I told you said, I have an answer, and I said, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
So if you have missed the show this hour, last hour, Hammer and I got into a big fight because I don't even remember how we got on this now.
Well, Kevin used the song as bumper music.
Oh.
And Hammer had said for years, I thought the lyric was, that's when a smoke was a smoke.
Yeah.
In Cherry Bomb from John Mellencamp.
That's right.
And then somewhere he said, but I learned that's when a sport was a sport.
And I told him, I looked it up. I always thought it was smoke was a smoke, too.
Mhm.
Then I looked it up online, and a bunch of these websites I was looking with the lyrics websites were saying smoke. He's like, but then Kev had to, none of it's all Kevin's fault, because if Kevin just kept his mouth shut, I'd have gone with that. Then Kev's like, no, I'm looking at this one, and it says sport. And then several others said sport. And then Hammer started screaming at me, and I was just trying to be helpful. Like, hey, man, I think you got it right.
Yeah.
And then he started screaming at me, and I said, well, then we're going to get to the bottom of this. And the past hour has been flooded with people on Apple Music and lyric websites, and his YouTube page says it's smoke.
So the author of the book, Mellencamp, American Troubadour, he says, to your ears, the first line, that's when a smoke was a smoke, would make sense because Mellencamp is a lifelong smoker.
Right.
And when he would be waxing nostalgic about unfiltered cigarettes.
Smoke,
right?
also description of a well-assembled woman.
Right.
And you know
Smoke
Mellencamp
show.
loves the ladies.
Yes. But then he says his interpretation of the line changed. This is the author of the Mellencamp American Troubadour book. It changed to that's when a sport was a sport, because that's a term of endearment, kind of like, hey, sport, or sporto. It's somebody that you can trust, somebody who you have a feeling of camaraderie with. So even the author of the book about Mellencamp doesn't know which is correct.
But then we played it several times. We isolated it, and it sounds like he's saying spoke.
Spoke.
Kev, one more time. Can you just play this one more time?
That's when spoke was spoke.
Right? Now that
Okay.
but now that I know the answer,
Does it make sense?
I hear exactly what he's saying. So, my dear friend, one of the greatest little treasures of Central Indiana and the music scene is the great Troy Kennett, one of the all-time great musicians in Central Indiana, now plays keys for Mellencamp. And I said, look, I don't know where Troy's at now. He's an acclaimed musician. He tours all the time with different people, does different venues, maybe recording. I said, I will text him, and maybe by tomorrow I'll have an answer. Well, he responded right away. And so we have the answer as to what.
So Troy's in the band.
Yeah, he's played this
He
10,000
sings the
times.
song.
He knows what it is. Yes, he knows what it is. What? Okay, so what is your final? I have the definitive answer.
You know the answer from a member in the band.
That's correct. What is your final guess?
My guess is.
What? You want to hear it one more time? One more time, Kev.
Yeah.
That's when spoke was spoke.
For years, I thought that's when a smoke was a smoke, but I hear the P in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it's sport.
Sport. Kev, final guess.
I'm going to say spoke, like the wagon wheel spoke.
Okay. Per Troy Kennett, it's sport was a sport, but it's pronounced spote.
Spote.
S-P-O-T-E.
With a little Southern Indiana
It's
accent.
Mellencamp.
Wow.
I was right. I said, I bet he's screwing with everybody. And that's what is going on. It is technically the lyric is sport, but it is he pronounces it spote.
Spote.
So how would anybody know that?
Wow.
How would anybody get that right?
Fantastic.
So now you, thanks to the great Troy Kennett, one of the most fabulous musicians ever in Central Indiana,
settled.
You can now go into the ether today, and you will wow your friends and family tonight at the dinner table. If you're younger, you can impress your parents. Look at what this show does for humanity at large.
I'm so impressed that you were able to get that answer within an hour.
Yeah.
Less than an hour.
What other guy in Central Indiana can say not only could he move the governor on property taxes, but within a few minutes could settle this highly debated.
You spoke. You do it. You do it, Rob Kendall. Wow. Okay, so
there you go.
Cherry Bomb, the second single from Mellencamp's 9th album. Do you know the name of the album?
Jubilee, right?
The Lonesome
Yeah, Lonesome Jubilee, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the first release off of that album?
How do I know that, Casey? Come on. What year was that? 87? Was it 87? Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
The first release was Paper and Fire.
Now, you were in your mid-30s back then, so you remember.
Stop.
Is there something else? We have a few minutes left. Is there something else we could talk about?
I just want to hear the song now. I just want to listen to it over and over again.
Casey's gonna be. When Casey goes home tonight, her and Jim, she's gonna have this conversation with him. You're gonna say, "What do you think this is?"
Yeah, I'm gonna play it over and over again. He'll be like, "Oh, I know this story." Because he will have listened to us.
He's a well-traveled man, right? Yeah.
So if you're thinking about selling your house, listing between April 13th and April 19th is the week that you should do it. Because apparently, yes, April 13th through the 19th.
Uh-huh.
That's the week to do it because homes that are listed that week sell for $27,000 more on average than any other time during the year.
How much more?
$27,000.
Why? What? I mean, there has to be. There's an article about this? There's some theory on why that is?
This is according to Realtor.com. That's the ideal time to sell your house each year, and it is influenced mostly by market conditions in your area, but it's because people want to get into the home. They want to be there for the summer. It's especially appealing in spring due to blooming flowers, green grass, and people definitely want to be in the home that they want to live in before the school season starts in the fall. Let's just listen to the music.
We served humanity today, Casey. We served humanity.
Did a fantastic job. We're going to talk about dogs coming up, but for now, let's just listen to Cherry Bomb. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
That's when the spoke was spoke. And grooving was grooving. Dancing and everything. We were young and we were improving.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it this afternoon, 3:06. We've got Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. Rob Kendall, Off the Rails, 93 WIBC.
Greetings from our agency, your Indiana Health Insurance Pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for making us national sales leaders once again for 2024. Crazy sign-up periods are at last over. If you were told the ACA and it's still Obamacare was your only option, that's just not true. If you were told since you've signed up already, you must keep your ACA program for a year, that's not true either. If you do not have serious health problems, and God forbid make a living wage, the ACA is your worst option, and it can be canceled at any time. We feature coverages guaranteed age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. Self-employed, early retiree, or ACA victim, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-563-0868 or rragency.org. As always, God bless America. Peace through strength and common sense government.
Recent talk about rising interest rates and economic uncertainty may have you wondering if now is the right time to sell your home. Will I get the price I need? Will it take too long? The good news, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. There's a friendly, no-pressure, experienced agent who eats and sleeps Indianapolis real estate. Call Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Greg and Franklin had to say about working with Mark Dietl. My tenant moved out of my investment property, and I was ready to sell. I heard about Mark on the radio, and everything they say is true. In 15 days on the market, I had a cash offer I wanted on the property. Selling with Mark Dietl was fast, easy, and profitable. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. It's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Everyone is talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation. Like your neighbor Dennis.
In the process of refinishing my garage and, trying to turn it into a man cave. So I started searching, online, and I ran across Galaxy.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings is not epoxy. It's better.
First thing I wanted to do initially is I wanted to repair where the concrete had eroded. They said they could do that. I said, well, heck, let me go ahead and get the entire floor covered.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a lifetime warranty.
They were so courteous and respectful of of the home and the property. And when they're done, they cleaned up, picked up, swept up. It was like they were never there.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
I would recommend Galaxy over any other competitor, hands down. You're going to be taken care of and you're going to be satisfied. These guys know what they're doing.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Join WIBC this Saturday 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show live from Sullivan Hardware and Garden at 71st and Keystone. Kick off spring at their open house. Play Pansy Roulette where you can win 10 to 100% off select items.
You know it's you, babe. Whenever I get weary and I'm riding love.
Rob, I know you had a bulldog, and that's really close, but the AKC has put out their list of the most popular dogs in the United States.
Okay.
And it wasn't a bulldog that topped the list. It was a French bulldog.
Oh, so English bulldog is what people traditionally think of when they think of, like the Georgia bulldog mascot. That's or the Butler bulldog mascot.
Right.
That's an English bulldog. A French bulldog.
A Frenchie.
I would take a ball peen hammer and smack myself between the eyes repeatedly before I'd have a French bulldog.
They're little guys, little comical guys.
That's not a bulldog.
Mischief.
No, that's not a bulldog.
There were 74,500 Frenchies last year that were registered AKC dogs. So they have a lot of celebrity owners. There's a lot of social media accounts devoted to them. However, people say that Frenchies have some health issues, and a lot of that comes from the overbreeding because they're popular.
No kidding. Right? And they're they're loud, right? And they
protective and powerful.
Oh, are they? Is that what they are? Well, yeah. Have you ever seen one? Does it send off the vibe of power to you?
I think they're cute. I like them. I don't know if I would want to own one because they are very rambunctious.
It's not a bulldog,
but they're
cute. It's not a real bulldog. It's some fantasy that somebody has had, and that's the number one dog in America.
That's the number one dog in America.
Yes.
Now, I do have the top 10 list. Would you like to hear the other popular dogs?
Absolutely.
Number 2, Labrador Retriever.
Okay.
Oh, I just love a retriever.
That's sort of like a universal dog, right? Like if you were to say, what's the vanilla ice cream of dogs?
Well, I think that I would go with a golden retriever as the vanilla.
Yeah.
And they fall in the third spot as most popular. German Shepherds on the list. That's a working dog,
yeah, that's right?
You see a German Shepherd, you're not messing around.
That's right. That's
because I feel like they're always so well trained. And maybe not as well trained. Poodles is number 5 most popular.
That's a vanity dog.
It's a little dog.
Yeah.
Dachshunds. Dachshunds?
Dachshunds.
Dachshunds?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
English lady.
That's number 6. And then there's the Beagle.
Yes.
I love a Beagle. They always seem to have very long nails. I had a friend who had a Beagle when we were younger. Loved the dog, but every time the dog jumped on my lap, I was like, ah!
The ears don't freak you out?
The ears?
Yeah, a beagle, giant floppy ears.
No.
Really?
Why?
Why? Because they're big ears.
Oh.
I mean, they don't fit the head.
That's what makes them so cute. That's another loud dog, though.
Yeah.
Don't,
Oh, yes.
They howl, don't they?
Yes. They are. They let you know they're there. No doubt. Absolutely.
Another dog that lets you know they're there that's on the list, Rottweilers.
Oh.
They're number 8 in popularity. And your beloved Bulldog is number 9.
English Bulldog. Yes. The great thing about the English Bulldog is, look, they are a dumpster fire in terms of their health. But if you get a healthy one, they're very low maintenance. They keep to themselves. They sleep most of the time, and they're very loyal friends. So, with the English Bulldog, a lot of health concerns. But if you get a healthy one, and look, I was very blessed. I've had 2 English Bulldogs, and they were both very healthy throughout most of their lives, which is a rare thing.
The last one on the list of top 10 most popular dogs in America, German short-haired pointer.
Who?
The German short-haired pointer.
I don't know if I know.
You don't know that one?
Is there a picture?
I don't have one pulled up. You can,
German.
You can look one up on your own.
I do have the internet right here. So while you're telling us something else, I'll look this up. I'm sure I'm going to be mortified. German short-haired pointer.
Are they kind of gray and brown with like patches?
I think if you got to have more than 2 names, you're not a thing, right? Like English Bulldog, French Bulldog, German
short-haired pointer.
Pointer, there it is. Oh, yeah, okay. You would know this dog if you saw it.
Are they kind of gray and brown?
Yeah, they got
patchy?
the spots. Yeah.
I would say maybe a medium-sized dog.
It's like a hunting dog.
Yeah, probably a working dog.
Very good.
So the U.S. has about 90 million dogs.
Really?
And that includes mixed breeds.
So that would be, if I'm doing public school math here, about...
That includes shelter dogs as well, 90 million.
Right, but that would be 1 dog for every 3.5 people if there's 330-ish million people in the country.
It's a lot of dogs, isn't it?
It's a lot of dogs.
We love our dogs.
What's the longest you've gone without a dog in your life?
Well, I never had a dog until I had Gracie dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Gracie dog was the first dog I ever had.
Oh, no kidding.
And when did we get her? We got her in about, 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
And she lived a nice, long life. She was...
Good dog.
14.
I met Gracie on numerous occasions. I still have a key to your house, by the way.
Well, that's fine.
Every time I ask you, do you want it back?
Do you miss... we both lost our dogs within months of each other.
That's right.
And I'm curious... You have a young child, so that probably plays a part into it. At what point do you feel like is a good time to... You know what? I may be back in the market for another dog.
Well, okay. So again, I'm different because I will, we have a child. Hopefully someday we'll be blessed with more children when we decide to venture down that path. And that's a lot of work. And so I have made the definitive statement in my house that Livy may have a dog when she is fully capable of taking care of the dog
a walk,
at all times. Not like I want a dog and I'll take care of it some of the time. So that's going to be a while because, you could theoretically say at 7, Daddy, I'll take care of it. No, I'll take care of it.
You'll still be
parent. It will be a while. But I would say, look, if you're depends on how long you had the dog and how attached to the dog you were. Some people have dogs and they just don't get attached to them.
I can't even imagine that.
There are some people who are they just see them as animals and they don't get super attached to them, and they've had them their whole lives or numerous dogs. They can turn around right away. I think if you're attached to an animal, you got to give it at least a year, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. I'm doing the math, by the way. I think I got that wrong. We got Gracie dog around 2009 because Emily was 8 when we got Gracie dog. But the thing is, when she passed away right away, I mean, I devastated, crushed. I cried so much, so much. But within about a week, I was thinking about, I miss having an animal, the noise of the dogs and the paws and just the love. And I thought, let's go get another one. No, that's grief talking. Because you're just trying to replace the loss. But now it's been a few months, and I'm starting to get that itch a little.
I think you're okay. I mean, the thing people have got to remember is you're never going to replace the dog you had.
Right.
Every dog is
going to be different, their own personality.
As someone who had 2 dogs who were the same breed who looked basically identical to each other, every dog has its own personality.
Well, and that's another thing I was thinking, like, if we were to get another dog, would we go with the same breed or
Yeah.
do something different?
I think as long as if you liked that breed of dog and you enjoyed the interactions
familiar
you
with.
had with them, that's fine.
Mhm.
I just think you have to walk into it knowing that that dog you had before was its own person, not in the physical sense that it was a person, but it has its own personality
Yeah.
and its own life force, and you're not going to replace that. It's not going to be that dog, and as long as you walk into it, I think it's fine to get the same breed of dog.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why I'm wanting to meet Alfie, the State House dog.
Yeah, you're trying to fill a void.
Like I'm
That's
wanting
right.
some dog love.
That's right. You're trying to.
That's right.
You're trying
That's
to
what
fill.
you're doing.
You're trying to fill a void. On that uplifting note, let's go home.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thanks for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hello, friends. It's Rob for Save a Tree, the tree, shrub, and lawn experts. And I told you how a couple weeks ago, Sean from Save a Tree came out to my house and gave me some suggestions on how I can make my yard look great after some tough weather. Save a Tree can make your lawn thrive, and I can't wait to enjoy that all summer long. Calling Save a Tree could end up being one of the best home upgrades I've ever made. I can't recommend Save a Tree enough, and here's how you can see how beautiful your yard can be and set up your own evaluation. Head over to saveatree.com. That's SAVATREE.com. That's SAVATREE.com. Or dial pound 250 on your smart device and say the keyword Save a Tree. That's pound 250, keyword Save a Tree. Bring your yard back to life with Save a Tree. The tree, shrub, and lawn experts. SaveAtree.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Blood, sweat, tears. At Bill Estes, we know it takes hard work and years of doing the right thing to build a business people can depend on. That's why we don't make empty promises and expect your trust. Estes earns it. From Ford F-150s and Toyota Tacomas to Ram 1500s and Chevy Silverados, we have the trucks you'll love at prices you can believe in. But don't just take our word for it. Your trust means something. Estes earns it. BillEstes.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR.